Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Tuesday that I definitely thought was Wednesday already. It's been that kind of week so far. Today is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. And thank you guys for being on the radio or, listening to us on the radio, the Odyssey app. And to those of you already up and streaming us on YouTube, fantastic to see you logging in, saying hello this early in the morning. You guys are very dedicated over there on the YouTube chat. Please keep it clean-ish and respectful-ish. And we really appreciate you guys finding different ways and exercising those ways to listen. Really, really appreciate that. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He is our executive producer, and he is coming off of a fresh haircut. One of the better haircuts in the room, I'd say right now. Certainly, Paulie is looking very good, and he is our executive producer, also handles all of our merch and handles our YouTube. He is a man of many, many talents, and he's much appreciated on this show. He's doing it all. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here this morning as well. Good morning to you, Benjamin.
Good morning. This is our foreplay segment.
Yes.
Which is usually just kind of a warm-up where we get into the show. I must say, I was the most resistant of the three.
You definitely
about
were.
Foreplay.
Yeah.
We just talk about
you just
nothing.
Want to get right to the action.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be the one who jumps right into it. I have never been more thankful for foreplay. I don't want to hear the P word for at least the first 15 minutes of the show today. I just want to settle in with two of my best friends.
Yep.
And we can talk about anything you want. We can go any direction you want.
I was driving in this morning.
Other than the P word for the first 15 minutes.
Driving in this morning with my windshield wipers on again. Because it was raining. Again.
When does it not missed here is what I want to know.
Raining after a Padres shutout. Name a better combination.
You just said don't say it, and you said it.
But I'm driving in and I go, we got to come up with something fun today. I don't know that I have it in me to start the week with back-to-back shows of
shutouts,
depression and shutouts and what's going on with so-and-so.
That team that will not be named is going to kill me. They're going to kill me. My blood pressure spikes. I can't sleep. It's midnight. I'm staring at the ceiling. What is going on? That being said, the sun will rise again somewhere, not
behind
here.
clouds.
No, not here. Not in another city. Somewhere, Ben, the sun will. I will promise you a couple of things today. The sun will rise in Phoenix. The sun will rise in probably New York City. The sun will not rise here. It's going to be another gray, foggy, misty day that looks like Scotland. We live in Scotland.
Swinging a mist.
Swinging a mist. Yes.
Swinging a mist.
That's us. That's us right now. It's mildly infuriating. My neighbor across the street, Ron, is just the best. He is just the absolute greatest, and he's a tier one. He listens every day. And I always catch him when he's walking his dogs in and I'm pulling into the driveway, and he's like, man, Padres are bad and the weather's bad. He goes, this is not my favorite time of year, because now what did you call it the other day? Grape roll?
Grape roll.
It's grape
We're not
roll.
Even into May, gray, or June gloom yet.
Now, I do wonder, though, because it's never really been like this, at least in my time here in April. I wonder if if it will switch up. If maybe it's May great.
I like that.
Maybe it's May great. Who knows? I don't know, but we have basically folded
June score with runners in position.
Yeah, June hit with runners in scoring position would be.
Paul, you are really pushing it already in this segment.
That would be fabulous. But yeah, so listen, I there's not much to talk about personal life wise. I've got two sick kids, so I was planning on trying to get down to that ballpark where the offense is futile. I was trying to get down there today. I've got two little guys, both home from school.
How hard was that for you? One of the hardest things about parenting, becoming a parent for the first time, the first few years, is I was always a bit of still am really, but maybe fastidious is the word, where I didn't like messes. I didn't like sticky things, the changing of the diapers. It took me a while to kind of adjust to how messy and sticky children are, and
Yeah,
that was hard. Now it's like, oh, you live it, and
they're disgusting.
And
I mean,
that was a hard part for me, though. The sickness,
thought it would
the
be
throwing up when that happens, and
I thought it would be, and I've talked a little bit about this before. I thought it would be very difficult for me. The gag reflex. Something happened in here the other day. Somebody said something, and I go, "Hang on," and I had to walk outside. What was that? It was maybe like Friday. Somebody mentioned something, and I was like, "Hang on, I'm going to vomit." I remember one time opening a bag of dog treats and vomiting into the sink. I thought I was dead. Like, I thought, when I have kids, I'm going to be this dad. Babe, I saw a YouTube video of a guy that had a clip on his nose like this, and he was like, oh my God. Now, there's been some of those before, but again, when it's your little guy and they're uncomfortable, you will do anything you can. So, bro, the diapers, I've never had a hard time. Vomit's a little tougher on me. Bo is projectiled in the car once. He's a couple weekends ago, standing by my bed, and just all over the floor. It's difficult. My floor is still wet.
Sink, toilet,
it's still wet. Yeah,
please.
that is a little tougher. I don't mind messes, dude. The messes that they make, it's kind of annoying when it's like, all right, the house is immaculate, and then you're like, why are you dragging that box of Legos out right
Just
now?
tag United Airlines, and
They'll
come
get the
fix
cleaning
it.
crew. Trust me. I walked in yesterday. There's granola bars all over the table. I almost took a picture and was like, "What are we doing here, guys? Who's coming to clean this up?" But no, it's they're both homesick today, so that's what I will be doing. Which again, I don't mind. I am so fortunate to have this job in particular, to where I can go grab them if need be, to where I can spend the entire day with those two nerds cuddled up in bed, watching movies they probably shouldn't watch, which I'm absolutely fine doing, waiting for the baseball game to start. So that's what I'll be doing today. I never really had a problem with the vomit and the dirt, or the poop and the dirty diapers. I've changed a billion of them. There are dads out there that are,
all right, at least I was not that.
I don't change diapers.
I did.
How do you get away with that?
I did it. It was a tough adjustment period to get, suppress the gag reflex and, just start realizing you're not going to stay neat and tidy as the parent of two small children.
I just like sometimes I walk in and I marvel, and I go, how does this happen? What did you eat? Were you eating diarrhea? Like, I don't understand how this happens. Like, I've never seen anything like this. It's like a science.
Such a little person.
You're a little dude. Like, what is happening? But now we are in the process of doing the potty training bit on baby number 2, Taylor. And the thing is, he gets to play on the iPad when he sits on the toilet. That dude wants to stay in there for an hour. So it's Taylor, you want to go potty? Here's your iPad. I'm not done yet. Leave, go. And you're like, all right, see you later. And he's just in there playing on the iPad.
He's preparing for adulthood. Yeah, very well.
That's exactly right. Literally the best spot to go sit and catch a breather. But no, I mean, it's such a joy, such a delight to be a dad. There's no question about it. But yeah, so we will end up talking some Padres today. Some really interesting quotes came out last night after the game from Manny Machado. We will have, I believe, the guy that asked the questions and where I first saw those original quotes, AJ Cassavell, will be on at 9. Haven't caught up with AJ yet this season. I don't believe this will be our first time catching up with him
since spring training.
Not since spring training. So always look forward to talk to him. Our beloved incorporator, Jesse Agler, will be on at 9:35. Now, in the next few hours, as we parse some of this out, there will be people driving around San Diego rolling their eyes, probably at some of our takes. They usually do. Jesse Agler, I can promise you this now. He's probably not listening. At 9:35, Jesse's going to come on. He's going to go relax, settle down. He always does. Jesse is really a good voice of reason. I don't see people attacking him like they attack us when we come on and say, guys, it's a long season. Just relax. Manny's going to figure it out. Juan's going to figure it out. Did you guys see the exchange I had over the weekend with the guy on Instagram? I'm doubting no, Ben. But like, bro,
I've had my own exchanges. I don't have time for yours.
That's true.
I am firing off against Padres fans left and right, calling me
it's gnarly.
An apologist, getting mad at me for
You're
what's going on right now.
Dude,
the only question I had for Ben was, I didn't see. Are people questioning the effort? Like,
Yeah, I had at least 15 people
you were
in my
talking
own
about how-
mention saying this team is giving no effort.
Right.
I saw people who said, I'm not going to go to games anymore.
Right.
It's 18 games in.
Right.
And I have people, and maybe it's just the frustration
that
talking.
just seems
and
so asinine.
they'll
But the
wake up in
funny-
the morning and realize
You can say the
that
offense sucks, and they
Yes,
these guys cannot hit.
It's okay to be frustrated, but the people who are saying that the team doesn't care, they're not trying,
Yeah, they're lazy.
lifeless, they're lazy. I mean, first of all, where are you coming up with this? Just because they're not scoring runs does not mean they're not trying to do their best.
Right.
It's the biggest fallacy in baseball that drives me crazy. They're totally different issues. There are some teams in history, including some Padres teams. I thought in the second half of the 2019 season, was it?
Yeah.
Effort was an issue.
100%.
They were lifeless. They lost their will. Things weren't going well, and they kind of
folded.
gave up, and they folded.
We saw it.
We've seen it.
This isn't it.
That's not what's going on here.
That being said, you talk about fallacies. The fallacy of if you guys stopped trying to be Bob Melvin's buddy, they would be playing better. That's the one that makes me want to walk into Adam's office and go, here's my 2 weeks. I'm effing done. I'm done. It drives me bat-ass crazy. Jesse Agler will come on at 9:35 and tell you, dear listener, to relax. Relax. It's fine. They're going to figure it out. I believe it. I believe it in my heart and soul. I'm afraid to say it sometimes. How about that for an admission? I'm afraid to get on my own radio show and say, guys, they're going to be fine. Stop freaking out. Stop trying to fire the hitting coach.
I don't know that they're going to be fine, and we'll get into this, but this team will not win without Manny Machado and Juan Soto starting to hit like they're supposed to, like they always have. If they both have miserable offensive seasons, this is going to be a really disappointing Padres year.
Counter take, just glass half full. Even if Soto and Machado have down years, you have two guys that you didn't have last year.
Correct.
Tatis, who's coming back, and he looks like freaking Babe Ruth.
And Xander's Rod Carew.
Xander just all he does is have multi-hit games.
That's it.
You didn't have either of those guys last year.
I mean, it's a good point. You could, you could start working your lineup where those two guys would have to be together. In fact, we've already heard what the new lineup is going to be essentially when Tatis comes back. Right now, I would not put Soto and Machado together. I'd put Tatis and Bogarts together in a lineup. They're the only guys at this point that you think are going to hit. We don't really know with Tatis until he comes back, but Bogarts is hitting. You have two, and let's say it, they're black holes right now in the lineup in your most important two spots. Of course you're not scoring. Of course you are not scoring. So really the only options right now are to break them up, bench them. Hey, I don't think you're going to do that because you're not going anywhere if Machado and Soto are sitting on the bench all season. So you have to keep playing them, and you're just going to have to wear it until they start hitting.
And they're not rookies. They've got a track record, which is why you can feel a little bit more at ease, right? You can feel a little bit more at ease that they will figure it out and figure out a way to help this team win. They will. In their own way, maybe. I don't know. I'd love for both. Neither of them is going to hit 350 with 45 bombs this year. You can get out of your head right now. Okay, you got to temper your expectations a little bit. And I know it's hard because morons like us got on here a month ago and said, what should we name the four guys at the top of? Trust me, I'm as embarrassed by it as you are. It almost makes me not want to get excited for a baseball season. I'm never going to hype this team up again. Next year, it could be Shohei Ohtani, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., re-sign Soto, go get Corbin Burns, and I'm going to be like, they're going to win 60 games. That's what I'm going to say next year. 60-game winner. Because I look like a buffoon. We all do right now. We look like buffoons for getting everybody so hyped. But it's not our fault. It wasn't just us. The national media everywhere in America was touting this team. They just need to play like it. Everything's going to be fine.
There has been cases where the local media has been myopic about their own team.
Of course.
But the national media all said this Padres lineup is generational, historically good, number one offense in baseball going into the season.
Far.
We didn't make that up.
We're the Royals.
To get to sell a few more tickets.
I don't make a nickel. If they sell out or if they don't, I don't get an extra nickel. I swear to God. The narratives that I see are asinine. They're asinine. They are asinine. Boy, we went right into it.
We tried.
We tried.
We tried as
we made
hard.
it about
Did our
9
best.
minutes.
We tried as hard as we could. Let's get the daily ditty going. Coming up next, the theme:
Oh,
songs that you were embarrassed about liking.
I am.
Probably wrote it as guilty pleasures. I know. I think songs you're flat out embarrassed that you actually kind of like.
I'm mortified.
Isn't that the same thing though?
It is. It is. But I like when you hear mine, I'm mortified that I like it.
There you go.
Mortified.
Woods' selection. I can't wait to hear what it is coming up next. Padres wrap up later this hour, and we will maybe, if you're good, take some phone calls and talk about your San Diego Padres this morning on Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
It's mortifying. Lucky to do you, baby.
You like a little falsetto in your dudes.
I do, man.
There's nothing
Very
wrong
much
with that.
so. Very much
Yeah.
so. But I loved this cheesy, syrupy. I think it was in the 80s. Yeah, Chicago.
Late Chicago,
That-
before Peter Cetera went out on his own.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a late addition to the band
Yeah.
too. They were different. They were a different kind of band.
Yeah.
And then the 80s hit, and they're like, let's just be cheesy. Probably, please don't turn that down. Please, as loud as it goes. I know the people on YouTube are like, cool, man. Hold on. Instead of getting easier, I gotta hear the chorus. I'm addicted to you. I sing that to Snacks.
You're a hard habit to
You
break.
are a hard habit to break. I love that 80s Chicago cheesy, those cheesy love songs. I bet you're a fan as well.
Of course.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Chicago, Paulie?
I have heard of it. It's the Windy City.
The Windy City, indeed.
Michael Jordan.
Yes, Michael Jordan, Chicago, very good. The Scuffling White Sox, also from there. Yeah, lot to
Patrick
like.
Wisdom is red hot for
Red.
the Cubs right now.
Red hot, buddy. Red
Chicago
red hot.
Bulls are they already out of the playoffs? Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
that's there's your Chicago update for you this morning.
Did you say Red Hawks?
The Blackhawks
Blackhawks.
and the Bulls.
I think you said the Red Hawks.
The Red Hawks.
That would be the Blackhawks, but they
Blackhawks.
wear
Red Wings.
The Red Wings,
Red Wings
in Detroit. That's
Red-
our hockey talk
Blackhawks,
for
the Chicago Bulls. Blackhawks.
This time of year always bums me out because I wish we had a hockey team because hockey Twitter is amazing. I mean, it is incredible. There's nothing like playoff hockey.
When the game was over last
Woo.
night, I flipped on the Kings in overtime against the Edmonton Oilers. There's overtime
Oh my
hockey.
God,
I don't
dude.
care if you don't watch a game all season, and I pretty much didn't watch a game all
Yeah.
season. It's impossible to turn off. Once you get locked into an overtime playoff hockey game, I dare you to go to sleep. I dare you to turn the channel until someone scores. And sometimes it can be a couple hours. They play 2, 3 overtimes. You're just sitting there, but you're like, I gotta see who wins this game. Now, every minute you watch just gets you more and more invested and go like, who is going to score the one goal and win this game?
The sudden death stuff is just it's just gnarly. They do it in the NLL as well, and it just makes you sick. My beloved Dallas Stars lost 3-2 in 2 overtimes last night, Ben. But hockey Twitter's pretty amazing.
That's a fascinating series. It's the old
North
Stars of Minnesota against the Wild. It would be like if San Diego got a new NFL team and then faced the Chargers in the playoffs.
That's exactly right.
It would be huge, enormous.
That's exactly right. The Bruins look pretty great. They won 3-1. The Kings did win in overtime, Benny, against Edmonton.
They
So
did.
There's some hockey updates for you guys.
Little tic-tac-toe goal for the Kings to take a 1-0 series lead over the Edmonton. Well, they were stunned in Alberta, Canada. Silent crowd filing out of that arena up there.
Yeah.
I feel bad for who I feel bad for. I know you're mad at him, but I feel bad for Bob Melvin.
I'm not mad at him.
I'm not, well, not you. I mean, I'm kind of speaking to the audience
Yeah.
and the Padres
Love Bob
fandom out
Melvin.
there.
Because I try to be friends with him.
Because Bob
that?
Melvin, and I don't know how he does it. Bob Melvin is, in fact, a superstitious man. We've
very
talked about it.
superstitious,
Get the root beer barrels, the little things that he does that, he believes in good and bad luck. And when your team is scuffling the way it is, I wonder what he's going through and what he's thinking about, like changing his routines. He's probably going, am I doing something wrong here that is making this team fail to hit?
The weird thing about superstitions is, I mean, once they start to, you got to find the right combo. You got to find what works. And then once it works, you don't deviate from that plan until it stops working. And the offense definitely is not clicking right now. It is important when you're talking about really any sport, I think, for a 4-hour radio show, you do need to highlight some positives. And it's not like there aren't positives about this team right now. There's actually some really, really pleasant surprises on this team right now. It's important that we highlight those, and we absolutely will. We also will talk about the just god-awful approach, the god-awful, I just did something that I don't like when people do. I don't know that their approach is wrong. I know that their results are wrong. I know that the results aren't coming through right now. I don't know enough about hitting at a big league level to say with any certainty Manny, your approach is wrong. Juan Soto, hi. Steve Woods here, four-time adult league champion. Your approach at the plate is wrong. I don't think I know enough about Juan Soto's approach or hitting at that level. Tony Gwynn Jr. can speak on it. He can speak on it. I can't. I don't know anything about putting a game plan together against Max Fried.
That's very mature.
I don't.
You're right. We don't know, and unless you're actually on the team or a hitting coach or Bob Melvin, or even Tony Gwynn doesn't necessarily know.
But he knows
what's going on.
But Tony Gwynn knows about.
But he doesn't know what Juan Soto is thinking.
Of course.
When he's sitting there,
he can speak to his, and that's I ripped on John Smoltz last week for saying
Xander Bogaerts doesn't like his approach right now.
He hates his approach, and he's getting two knocks.
He's getting great results though, but he says I got a lot of things that I need to fix.
Yeah.
It's doesn't feel right now. That I'm not locked in. The toe tap. The results are great, but he would say his approach is poor. Would you say Tony Gwynn, if he came in and I look at Xander Bogaerts and that's a terrible approach right now?
Right.
You wouldn't say that. Even Tony Gwynn Jr. is going to have to go on results.
It's results,
and that's not really a fair way to assess, especially this early in the season, a baseball team.
What results?
This early in the season? Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of saying what their approach is,
I can't. I don't. It's just one of those things you say. I don't like this team's approach. Now,
when you get to a statistically significant portion of the season, you said what 40 games before you can say anything.
Wayne Kirby. That's Wayne Kirby's bit.
Yeah.
40 games. We reevaluate.
And then you look like this team is striking out way more than other teams in baseball.
Yeah.
Then you can say maybe their approach is wrong. Maybe they need to work on making more contact. They're swinging for the fences too much. But in 18 games where we are right now, there's really not enough data yet to even determine what the approach is for this team and whether it's going correctly or not. You have to let it play out a little bit more. And I know everyone hates to hear that and patience, but it is kind of true. Now we'll get to our Padres wrap up and the highlights of yesterday's game. And
it's going to be a short one.
I'm going to infuriate some people with little logic.
Oh no.
When we come back as well. That's next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station.
Stay tuned to be infuriated.
Next. 97.
Do you like being infuriated out there?
You guys like being livid?
There might be a person or two appreciates my reasonable, sensible mind. Coming up next.
Never change.
So our 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Cal Hope. Seems kind of appropriate today for free mental health help. Visit calhope.org.
Yes.
It's not necessarily designed for fans of our baseball team, but Cal Hope can help access Cal Hope's free and secure mental health resources today. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Has anybody ever actually talked to their therapist about the Padres? I wonder. I'm sure they have.
I've got therapy later today.
Are you going to mention them?
I might.
Just be like, this team's killing us. It's just killing us right now.
Look, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
Like I'm running in circles here, like trying to come up with. It's hard. It is tough because in the morning,
Help me.
we want to be a distraction for people. We want to be Ben and Woods program. That's what we live to do. We want to be a distraction. We want to make you laugh, smile, roll your eyes on the way to work and go, those dumb bastards, right? You fat bastards want to eat some of this. We want to be a distraction. It's also very hard to be a distraction after 18 innings without seeing one single run. One run. Begging for one run. You got to start somewhere. So it is a little difficult to come in and be a distraction when we ourselves are pretty bummed out and pretty distracted, I guess is the great word.
Well, I'm gonna frustrate you with some logic.
I like logic. I'm fine with logic, and I'll tell you what. The two guys that I needed to hear from last night, what they said made me feel much better when I woke up this morning.
Good.
And Paulie played the audio.
We'll talk
and
about.
I hope it makes you guys feel.
We'll
better
talk
too.
about that after we get to the short wrap up of last night's loss to the Braves. Let's get to it after check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
A crash has been cleared over the right shoulder on northbound 805 right before the 54. Also, eastbound King Freeway near Euclid. We are getting reports of some lumber in the fast lane. Just continue to take it extra carefully out there, guys. Slick roadways thanks to some scattered showers. And have your headlights on so you're more visible to other drivers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
They'll score it all.
That's unfair. It's unfair to Ryan Weathers. The guy pitched his heart out. He pitched his little heart out last night.
He did great.
He really
Fine.
did. He really pitched his guts. A 2-run shot in the first should not be a death knell for a team. It should not be the final nail in the coffin. It shouldn't be the rose hitting the casket in the first inning. It should not be. So holy cow, man.
I guess my argument to everyone out there, the doomsayers, the gloomy gusses in Padres fan world right now, is that there may be a time to panic. There may be a time to lose your minds and get frustrated. Last night it was a weird game for you to get really upset at this team because context matters in a 162 game season. And honestly, if you look at all the matchups the Padres are going to play this year, last night's was one that really didn't favor the team. The Braves were going with their ace, Max Fried. He's got a 1.08 ERA. The Padres are going with their 7th starter, who probably should be still in AAA at this point. Braves went with their high-end bullpen guys after that. 0 ERA for Lee, 0 ERA for Chavez, then their closer in the ninth. Padres threw Brent Honeywell and Reese Kinnear coming up after that. Overall, with the Braves having that massive pitching advantage, the Braves had one more hit than the Padres did last night.
Yep.
One more hit than the Padres did in last night's
like
game.
It doesn't.
They had 7. The Padres had 6. The Braves struck out one fewer time than the San Diego Padres did last night in that game. It was an incredibly even game. And after the first 3 batters, it was an absolute stand-off draw. After the first 3 batters of the game, it was a 0-0 tie for the final 8 2/3 innings of that game. The Padres lost to a team that won 101 games last year, that was riding a 6-game winning streak, that is playing as well as any team in baseball this season. And they lost 2-0 with their number 7 starter on the mound against that team's ace.
I'm very
that the game that you're going to choose to lose your mind over, that the Padres lost?
No, I mean it's just a symptom of not scoring runs, and that's, I think, what people are losing their minds over, this offense that's not scoring runs. Look, the guys, they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money to produce, and when they're not producing, the spotlight's on them. They know that. They're not stupid.
Let me take it a little bit further. They don't like the approach of the Padres. Right. I saw a lot of, hey, they can't just be waiting for the home run ball. How many runs did the Atlanta Braves manufacture in the game last night?
0.
They hit 1 2-run home run.
And that was it.
And that was it for the entire game. Who hit the longest ball in the game yesterday? Juan Soto did.
The one to center.
The one to center was, I think, 14 feet further than the 359-foot wall-scraping home run over the shortest little wall. It was hit hard.
It was hit hard.
All 3 of those first balls off Ryan Weathers were hit hard. And if there's one criticism of Ryan Weathers, didn't get locked in the first 7 pitches of the game.
Yeah, they came out swinging.
Yeah, and after that, he really, really pitched a fine game. Didn't get in a lot of trouble. When he did, that 1 inning in the 5th, got out of it brilliantly against the heart of the Braves order. Brent Honeywell was outstanding again. Reese Kinnear came in, saved the rest of the Padres bullpen, did a fantastic job. I thought the Padres defense, for the most part, was really good.
Yeah. I thought it was
base running. They stole a base. They picked off a runner. They didn't get any stolen bases against them.
Nola got a double. There were some positives.
Yeah.
And I think
Bogarts had 2 more hits.
The biggest one for me is Ryan Weathers. I don't know how you look at that game and not praise what he's done to start this season. The comeback that he is putting together right now is nothing short of spectacular. That lineup is ridiculously good in Atlanta. And you want to talk, he made an adjustment, Ben. He came out and he was like, all right, here's a fastball. And they go, all right, here's 107 by Manny. Here's 111. He pitched in and out. He got in some trouble, pitched out of trouble. I thought he was spectacular. You couldn't ask for anything more from, like you said, your number 7 starter. Nobody wants to hear logic, though, when you've gone 18 innings in a row without scoring a run. The logic is kind of hard to swallow.
That's why I knew it would infuriate some people.
I feel that as well.
But it's also why I can't get overly upset about that game last night. I know why they're not scoring. I've said it many times. Right there. Their 2-hitter, Juan Soto, 0 for 3. Their 3-hitter, Manny Machado, 0 for 4. Their 4-hitter, Nelson Cruz, 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Their 5-hitter, Jake Cronenworth, 0 for 4. Their 6-hitter, Ha-Seong Kim, 0 for 4. You're going to get shut out. Unless one of your 7, 8, 9 or your leadoff hitter hits a home run or happens to string together 2 doubles, you're going to get shut out or maybe score 1 run if that happens to your lineup in a game like that. So it's on those guys in the middle of the order, especially Juan Soto and Manny Machado, to start hitting. Manny Machado in particular, to me, and this has been true ever since he joined the team, he's the straw that stirs the drink.
No doubt about it.
You can probably almost without fail correlate how well Manny is playing with how the Padres are doing. 2019, Manny Machado didn't have a great season, struggled in his first year with the Padres. 2018 was his first year, was it?
2018.
Yeah. Struggled, especially in the second half. Padres fell off a cliff. 2019, didn't have his best season, a little bit better. Padres were a little bit better. 2020 had a great 60-game season, was an MVP candidate. Padres were really good. 2021.
2019 was Manny's first year.
2019, yeah. 2019?
Yeah.
1, 2,
we
3,
started
4.
in
This is his 5th season. Yeah, 2019 was his first season.
We got him in the spring of 2019.
Correct. Okay. And that was the year, the second half, he was really, really bad, had trouble adjusting. Padres were terrible. 2020, he was great. Padres were great. 2021, he took a step back. Padres took a step back. 2022, he was an MVP candidate. Padres go to the NLCS. And here in 2023, they start slowly, and Manny is starting slowly. He is the straw that stirs this drink. The Padres need Manny Machado more than even Juan Soto or anyone else to get locked in. But once he does, I think they're going to be very good, actually, still. Not just fine. They're going to be a very good baseball team once Manny Machado gets locked in. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't think, Manny doesn't know, but given his track record of consistency and who he is, I'm pretty confident it's going to happen at some point. Will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? Will it be in 3 weeks? I don't know, but at some point, Manny will get locked in, and the Padres will feed off of him and will start playing great baseball. That's all I can tell you. I don't know the date. Can't circle it on a calendar. Manny probably can't either. But to me, that's the issue right now with the Padres. And I hate putting it all on one guy, but hey, when you're Manny Machado and you're the heart of the team and you get a giant contract extension, that's going to be on you. And I trust that Manny is going to figure it out because he always has in the past.
Yep, I agree. That's my guy. I have to go back and forth with one of our audience members every at bat. This guy tweets me every at bat that Manny doesn't get a knock. Manny sucks. He's not clutch, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's mildly infuriating because the dude got us to the NLCS last year on one leg, literally on one leg. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's earned the benefit of the doubt. He has. Juan Soto is a bit of a different story here. He is a generational talent. He has a generational eye. People are tired of hearing that word. It's not my word. It's the stats that he's put together in his career. That's what makes him that. The comps that he has. He's not playing like it. It's not playing like it. Hasn't really played like it since he's been here. But Juan Soto, for me, he has a year and a few months left on his contract here in San Diego. It's on him. If he wants to stay, he'll stay. If he wants to produce, he'll produce. I'm more concerned about the guys that are going to be here long-term, the core of this team. Fernando's going to be a big part of that. He's coming back Thursday. It's unfair to put the weight of this team's offensive struggles on him, but he's another guy I feel can take it. I feel he can handle it. By the way, let's not kid ourselves. If Nando comes back and starts mashing, you know what everyone else is probably going to do because it's baseball? They're probably going to start mashing as well. It's just the way it works. It's contagious, and they just got to get it together. I love Manny's quotes last night to AJ Cassavell, who we will have on our program at 9 a.m. He said, I'd rather this happen now than down the road. For anyone that would read too much into 18 games, it's just don't jump on the bandwagon later when we start effing raking and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. I loved that. I think that I want that kind of fire and passion. Everyone's saying that everyone's lazy and not trying. That says to me, I'm trying. We're trying. That's what that says to me. If he comes in after the clubhouse and his feet are up and he's like, hey, listen, it's baseball. I'm rich. I don't care. I love that passion. He's not talking about people in the stands. Padre fans are showing up. Padre fans are watching. I know exactly what he's saying. If you don't love us at our worst, don't come back and love us at our best, right? Keep that same energy. Say it with your whole chest. All of those things can be true. I love the fire from him. And we finally, honestly, that's kind of what I was looking for.
And I
last
think
night.
Padres fans have heard that quote or something similar to it in previous editions of the team that probably didn't earn it.
Yeah.
That when you've got a heart of your lineup that features guys like, Brandon Dixon and, the guys who really you shouldn't have a lot of faith in, but they're saying, hey, we're going to hit. Just trust us. We're going to hit.
It's hard to buy that.
I don't know that I believe you. You don't have a track record. But when Manny Machado says it, I believe him.
I do too.
That he's going to start hitting.
Yeah,
of course he has.
He absolutely has earned that.
There's no other signs that, Manny Machado, well, he's not 38 years old. Like maybe Manny's just fallen off a cliff and he's gotten too old for this game. There's nothing that would suggest that Manny shouldn't have another outstanding season this year. And if and when he does, Padres are going to be just fine. They really are.
You want to talk about infuriating some people? You don't have to watch. Nobody's forcing you to watch.
I saw some people saying, I might have to take a break from this team.
I recommend it.
I don't. I feel like you're going to miss some really spectacular stuff if you stop watching.
But if you're dying every night, pitch by pitch, and there's a part of me that does that too.
That's the price you pay as a baseball fan. Even if you're not buying physical tickets to really get the full enjoyment out of a baseball season,
you got to enjoy the ride.
you got to live through the bad parts because the good parts come unexpectedly. And if you just decide, the Padres have won 5 games in a row, I'm going to start watching. Well, then they might go into a slump again.
If you don't watch and they win 5 games in a row, you better never watch again. You don't mess with a winning streak, as the great Crash Davis says. If you think you're winning because you are, having sex or not, you don't mess with that streak. You know better out there. But listen, it is a grind. I get it. It's a tough watch right now. None of these things are wrong.
Padres hit some balls hard. I counted exit velocities over 95. I think the Braves had one more than the Padres last night. Padres hit some atom balls at the wrong time. Manny's double play what was it, the 8th inning when they had 2 runners on, and he absolutely scorched one up the middle. I think it was the 3rd hardest hit ball of the night. Just, bad luck right at someone. That's not a bad approach. That's not a sign that the team is doing something wrong. That's just baseball luck. And sometimes it goes against you. And last night didn't go the Padres' way against a really good team.
Let me correct myself. The guy that I go back and forth with every night, he never said Manny sucks. He says he's not clutch. Manny's not a clutch player. So every night when he does, but it's the 1st inning, the 3rd inning, the 5th inning, the 7th inning. If he doesn't get a hit, I get a tweet from this cat every night. You want to talk about a grind? That's a grind.
We'll talk about it later with AJ Cassavell and Jesse Agler. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. All right, we did see Fernando Tatis Jr. make his return yesterday to Petco Park. Talk about what is going on with the Padres behind the scenes and a little take on Woods, chance for someone to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas in our musical trivia game. It is coming up next, hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Did you see the video clip of our friend Annie Heilbrunn during the scrum
I did.
with Bob Melvin yesterday?
I did.
Welcome back. It's Ben and Woods, hour number 2 on 97.3 The Fan, Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Just went through the 2-0 Padres loss to the Braves last night.
This is a fun one.
That was. So yeah, before the game, the normal, reporters sitting in the dugout gathered around Bob Melvin, and he happens to be sitting right next to Bob, facing outwards.
Yeah, facing
and,
the field.
Bob's just answering a question about I don't know what it was, Drew Pomeranz and his injury status, and all of a sudden you see Annie just hear jaw dropping. Oh, and everyone was like, what just happened? And she says, that was the moment I saw Fernando Tatis Jr. walking onto the field. It's something we haven't, at least as members of the media or fans, seen in quite some time at Petco Park. We've seen him at AAA, minor leagues. We saw him at spring training, but at Petco Park, been a very long time since we've seen him walk with his glove onto the field to start working out with his teammates. Played some toss, got into the batting cage. Now he had to leave before the gates opened. He's not allowed to be at the park while he's still on suspension once the gates open to fans. So what's that, 5 o'clock, 4:30, whatever it is, for a 6:40 game. He then had to leave and, go back to wherever he lives and watch the game on television like the rest of us. But for the first time, you saw Fernando Tatis Jr. there as he gets ready for his imminent return to the San Diego Padres on Thursday.
Why was he in blue? She was in the old school blue.
Well, I thought he was trying to match the blue hat they were wearing last night, because he was wearing one of those S hats.
He was, but everybody else was in.
That's true.
That's his punishment.
He's like, hey,
The scarlet letter.
Can I get some new gear? They're like, no. Thursday. You can get new gear Thursday, kid. He's out there in the old school blue and white. I thought it was funny when I saw it. He looks great. I'm excited to have him back. It's going to be. I'm tingly.
There was talk about potentially sending him to Lake Elsinore tonight. Bob Melvin said, I don't think that's going to happen. He looks plenty locked in. We're just going to bubble wrap him and send him off to Arizona.
Bob Melvin's just like us. I mean, he's literally like, no, we're just going to bubble wrap him and get him there.
Needs to do nothing else in his return. They said they might create a bit of a simulated game or something today just to get him some game-like action. And then it's Thursday, leading off for the San Diego Padres at Chase Field against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Fernando Tatis Jr. expected to be back into the line. Well, assumed will be back in the line. Bob Melvin's acting like it's nothing, short of act of God will stop it at this point. So hopefully, we thought he was about to return last year, and then the hammer fell from Major League Baseball with the suspension. Not expecting any bad news in the next couple of days. We did hear about Drew Pomeranz, and he was there yesterday. I thought that was a bad sign, honestly.
Did you?
I figured, well, if he's going to do a rehab start, why did he come back all the way to San Diego?
Because they're traveling. They're traveling to Tacoma?
Well, Bob said he's probably going to go Lake Elsinore today.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, today
Okay.
or tomorrow. So that's why he came back to San Diego, but he was feeling much better. And
Getting some treatment done yesterday.
yeah, with the major league staff, and then
Does he ever get treatment? Or?
he's but the reports were good, and then
He gets more treatment than I do at fantasy camp.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
and then unfortunately they did have to put Luis Campusano on the injured list yesterday.
Yeah, bummer.
That jammed thumb was determined to be a sprained thumb, and they put him on the 10-day IL. So we saw Austin Nola again. Austin Nola actually,
Bro,
starting to get a little bit more productive at the plate now that Luis Campusano's not breathing down his neck to steal his
it's the way
playing
it always
time.
works. Campy hurt himself between innings, warming up, which murders me, by the way. That murders me. Like, it's not something I've noticed a lot at the big league level. If Yachty gets a day off, I don't ever remember him. I mean, he may have. In my mind, though, I'm going to have anybody else. I'm going to have a guy that's like me. Woodsy, get out there and warm him up while Nola gets his gear on. Yeah, done. You squat back there. You got the mask on, no other gear. You catch him. You can't jam your thumb catching Nick Martinez in between innings if you are going to be a valuable part of this team. And he is, and he's going to be. And we're all, we can't do an IL. You get hurt in a game, that's one thing. But you're out warming up a guy adult league style between innings. That one kind of bummed me out a little bit. One of those unfortunate, weird baseball injuries. But yeah, I always kind of figured there was a guy for that. Didn't you?
Yeah,
Not the backup catcher.
Yeah,
you
like
might
an
need
assistant
later in the day.
coach or something that can go out there.
What's Ryan Christensen doing that he can't grab
Then
a
again,
bit?
I don't remember. I mean,
I don't know either.
Baseball is filled with odd injuries.
It really is.
I don't remember ever the warm-up catcher getting hurt.
Martinez could spike
Before.
and change, and he could hit you in the throat or in the
Yeah,
or something like.
But you can just get out of the way too. You don't have to block
Yeah,
it or
you
anything.
don't have to do anything.
This is in between innings.
He jammed his thumb, catching some nasty slider or something from Nick Martinez. Now he's out.
I mean, he's got to
10 days.
catch when he's actually in there. Obviously, he's got to catch
Sure,
nasty pitches over and over and over and over again.
absolutely.
He's at much more risk in a game than in a warm up between innings.
But if
yeah,
I'm going to lose a guy, let me lose him in a game. Don't let me lose him shagging balls in the outfield before a game or warming up a pitcher. Again, it may be standard operating procedure. I don't think that it is.
if you want to join us for Take on Woods, call now 833-288-0973. Play our musical trivia game in just a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. The rub is that Brett Sullivan could make his, I believe, major league debut tonight. Bob Melvin said that was a possibility, catching Blake Snell in game 2 of the series. Sullivan, who played for Italy in the World Baseball Classic and did some nice things in the spring, could get an opportunity tonight. You can't have Austin Nola play every single game.
Hey,
so.
kid, has he never played before?
I don't
I'm gonna look
know.
it up.
I think someone said it was his actual major league debut when he goes in. It could just be the Padres debut, but I think
So I believe he.
I thought it was his professional debut.
his major league debut.
debut.
Yeah, I believe so as well. The first time he gets in, if he gets in, will be his major league
They were asking
debut.
him Sunday.
Yeah, nothing. He's
about
never had an AB.
getting the call for the first time.
Now, hey kid, welcome to the big leagues. You gotta catch Blake Snell day one. Also, you're gonna go against Spencer Strider. So really have a day out there. I mean, that's a tough order, Ben, those two in combination, catching Blake Snell and hitting off of Spencer Strider. This is a tough combo for a veteran catcher.
It
Martin
is.
Maldonado's like,
It is, but if baseball's a mental game, and Blake Snell has obviously been scuffling a little bit mentally early in the season. What a better way. Hey, zero pressure today, Blake. We're probably not going to score. We're going to put you with a catcher who's never been in there. Just go out and
Have fun.
Yeah, just go out and be nasty. You know what? No pressure at all.
That's
We're
a lot, man.
probably not going to do well. And you
Buddy.
know what? Blake could actually respond under those circumstances.
That is a lot. That's a lot. The putting together an AB against one of the nastier pitchers in the big leagues and Spencer Strider, who can just blow you away. He's got ungodly breaking stuff. He's got ungodly everything. And you got to go up and hit him 4 times. And then you got to go out and catch Blake Snell and calm him down and keep him sane. Brett Sullivan, my friend, congratulations. You were thrown straight into the fire. That is as about into the fire as you can go.
Braves are really good. I mean, they're 2-3 against the Padres and 11-1 against everybody else this season. So this is the probably right now class of the National League.
Yeah.
At the moment is what I'd say. If not them, then maybe the Milwaukee Brewers, who've been playing really, really well. Also, they lost Corbin Burns yesterday.
Yeah, had a little
he had to come out of that game.
Thing, maybe.
That's going to be somewhat concerning for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Diamondbacks have been playing pretty well too.
Yep.
And guess what? Padres next head. How is it that every single
First place
series is against the teams that are playing the absolute best in baseball? First place. And while the Padres should be able to play better against these teams, strength of schedule does matter. I mean,
when do we play the A's
Yeah.
for 3? They'll probably be white hot when we play.
but right now the Padres are playing nothing but teams that are really getting off to great starts at the moment, which is adding to the difficulty of this start and why the Padres are, a couple of games below 500 as well. It's not just what the Padres are doing. Give the opponents a little bit of credit as well. They're all playing good. It's not as though the Braves came in losing 6 in a row and then all of a sudden get healthy against the Padres. They were playing really, really well. They lost them to the Padres. Then they started playing really, really well again. They've won 7 in a row. These other teams are playing, get some credit as well. It's not simply the Padres' failings. All right, to see we got some contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It's time to play Take on Woods. It's our musical trivia game with a chance to qualify for a trip for two to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, including a 2-night stay and tickets to Barry Manilow, breaking records in 2023. Join Manilow as he celebrates his 14th year at the Westgate International Showroom, breaking Elvis's record for most shows on the property. From Copacabana and Mandy, now's your chance to witness this Grammy, Emmy, and Tony Award-winning artist in an iconic performance. Get your tickets now to see Barry Manilow at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. And we got Brian on the line as our contestant today. Brian, good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, sound good? We got Woods out of the studio. He goes second. You get to go first with our 5 questions. You get to pick our category. Here are your choices. We'll bring back L names, 5 song titles that feature names beginning with the letter L. Do the Do, musical answers built around do, and you'll hear what we mean on that one. Or Music Man. Those are 5 musical answers that all actually contain the word music. So of those 3, Brian, L names, Do the Do, or Music Man, what would you like to play?
How about Music Man?
Music Man. All right, our new category today, 5 musical answers that contain the word music. Seems simple enough. Song titles, bands, and artists could be any of those. You'll have 60 seconds to answer our 5 questions. If you don't know an answer, say pass. You save enough time, we can get back to them at the end if there's time still left on the clock. Paulie will start us out by playing a little music of his own, the 2-second song. You need to give me both the title of the song and the artist to score that point. We'll go from there. Brian, you ready to play?
Yeah.
All right, Brian will go first, then Woods comes back and gets the same 5 questions. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. The category Music Man. Your time starts when Paul plays that music. Good luck, Brian. Let's take on Woods.
Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry.
Correct. Which early 90s duo was best known for singles including Things That Make You Go and Gonna Make You Sweat? Everybody Dance Now.
CNC Music Factory.
Correct. Which foot-tapping 1972 song became a breakthrough hit for the Doobie Brothers?
Oh, pass.
Brian Eno has had a long, successful career as a record producer, but he's also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of which English band?
Oh, pass.
Julie Andrews sings the title track from which movie set in the Austrian Alps?
Sound of Music.
Correct. Which foot-tapping 1972 song became a breakthrough hit for the Doobie Brothers?
Pass.
Brian Eno has had a long, successful career as a record producer, but he's also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of which English band? All right, you got 3. Not bad. Not bad. I don't know. That could hold up.
That's going to be close.
It could be. Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry, CNC Music Factory, and The Sound of Music. The 2 you didn't get, Listen to the Music. Whoa, Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. And Roxy Music was Brian Eno's band. I think Woods might get that one. That could be the difference in the game. We'll see. All right, Brian, you stay on hold. Woods comes in. His disadvantage is he doesn't get that category name. Makes it a little bit harder, but he's got the same 60 seconds, the same 5 questions. Put 60 on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods.
Thank you.
Let's take on Brian.
Play That Funky Music by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Ooh, no. Which early
What?
90s duo was best known for singles including Things That Make You Go and Gonna Make You Sweat? Everybody Dance Now.
CNC Music Factory.
Correct. Which foot-tapping 1972 song became a breakthrough hit for the Doobie Brothers?
China Grove.
Incorrect. Brian Eno has had a long, successful career as a record producer, but he's also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of which English band?
Oh my God, Brian Eno. Come on, dude. I'm blanking. Go next. Quick.
Julie Andrews sings the title track from which movie set in the Austrian Alps?
The Sound of Music.
Correct. Brian Eno has had a long, successful career as a record producer, but he's also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of which English
I'm
band?
gonna jump. I'm losing my mind.
Wow.
Roxy Music.
Oh, and he needed that one just to get the tie.
Wow.
3-3.
Wow.
Brian, congratulations. Stay on the line.
What the hell
Paulie will
is
get
the,
your information.
what was
But
the
you got
category?
CNC Music Factory. Play That Funky Music. The Sound of Music.
I didn't
Roxy
get-
Music.
You didn't get the
I
first
didn't
You
one.
didn't get the,
first.
you got the
You said
title.
Casey and the Sunshine
You just had the
Band.
artist wrong.
Oh,
You had the title
Play
right.
That
It's
Funky
Wild
Music.
Cherry though.
Oh, is it?
It's not Casey and the Sunshine
So
Band.
did I tie?
Yeah, 3-3.
Okay.
You got it's Music Man.
Music.
Everything
Man.
music.
All right.
Funky Music, Music Factory, Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. Was the one. Was the one you didn't get. Roxy Music and The Sound of Music.
Wow.
So a 3-3
Okay.
tie. Good job, Brian. Only a couple of winners this month. Only a couple of qualifiers even. So good chance to get that trip to Las Vegas at the end of the month.
Good job.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Don't do this is coming up next. And it isn't simply another segment talking about the Padres, I promise.
Draymond.
Yeah, I think we can get into Draymond.
What do you do? Why do you do this
He's such a polarizing player.
every year?
Guy just waits for the playoffs.
Wait
to
for the
come
playoffs.
around.
He starts assaulting people.
Such a polarizing player.
Is he really polarizing, or is it everybody thinks he's a clown except a Warriors fan?
All right, we'll talk about it coming up next on Don't Do This.
Is that polarizing, or is that just being a homer?
I just don't know that they have any of their success without him, though.
I mean, I agree. Who likes him, though? Warriors fans. You can't like what he did last night.
All right, we'll come back and talk more about it. Don't do this after check traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
The Fan.
All right, Woodsy, why don't you get us started here? Don't do this on a Tuesday.
Every single year in the playoffs, Draymond Green does something where you go, bro, what in the world? What are you thinking? What is happening? He's not a big rise above guy, right? Like that's not his forte.
No, I mean, he wasn't the instigator last night. I was watching this actually right after the Padres game was over, the end of the Warriors Kings, which has been a really incredible first two games of that series, by the way.
I've watched it 1,000 times. Warriors are now down 0-2. Draymond gets ejected for last night. So how do you say the guy's first name?
Domantas Sabonis.
Domantas Sabonis. He and Draymond are going for a rebound. They fall to the ground. Sabonis grabs him by the leg, and Draymond gets up.
Yanks.
He yanks.
Yeah.
Draymond gets up and stomps on his chest and then does like the, oh, no, I didn't mean to stomp, and kind of jumps off him. He got ejected because you can't, I don't know if you guys know this. The rules of the game say you cannot jump up and down on somebody's ribs while they're on the ground.
Even if they have just fouled you.
Even if they've grabbed you.
Huh. By the way, Sabonis was assessed a flagrant foul for what he did to Draymond. That still doesn't excuse you and allow you free reign to retaliate in any way that you see fit, including stomping on a guy's chest.
By the way, Sabonis is undergoing x-rays on his ribs and lungs, according to Woj.
We'll see if that's I don't know if that's part of marketing. They're trying. I mean, if I'm the Kings, I'm trying to get Draymond suspended
the whole series.
Now, I think we'll see what happens. I think maybe the fact that he didn't instigate it and heat of the moment sort of thing may avoid a suspension, but he's pretty critical for the Warriors. I mean, you watch their title runs. I mean, his energy, his defense, his passing have been very instrumental. He's that role player that they simply can't do without, but he must drive Steve Kerr absolutely bad. Kerr always has his back.
He always has his back.
And honestly, I think Draymond's pretty smart guy. You know, when you hear him talking and, you know, he's intelligent, he's insightful, he's humorous at times, but he loses his cool too much on the court. And it was pointed out last night, I forget who it was, one of the hosts is like, other players get fouled and don't react the way that Draymond does.
Mark Spears tweets, Warrior star Draymond Green asked for an x-ray on his right ankle after the game. He lost after, quote, feeling soreness. It's just like little kids. They're little kids out there. They're grown men. They make millions of dollars. But at the heart of all of this, they're little kids. They're infantile children. Shaq, by the way, on TNT last night was like, I would have done the same thing. If you're in the way, you might get stomped on. Of course, it was a dirty play. If you don't grab me, this won't happen. Shaq said, I would have done the same thing. You can't get run in those games, right? Like, and that seemingly happens every year. Now he's facing a possible suspension.
Up 2-0 in an NBA playoff series. I think you're like 92% to win.
Yeah, how about that, man? Sacramento.
This one, I don't know. You know, Golden State has been just totally different teams home and road all season. They go home. They still have their 3 home games left. I wouldn't be shocked if Draymond isn't suspended and they have their team. Wouldn't be shocked to see the home team win basically every game of the series and it go to a game 7. Yeah. And then it's the experienced Golden State Warriors who've won multiple championships against this Kings team who's most of them have never even been in the playoffs in a game 7. I don't know what could happen. We'll see, though. If Sacramento steals one of the next 2, it's probably over.
You like a 2-0 lead, man. Crazy. If you're Sacramento.
Golden State's never trailed a series 0-2.
That's not with Steph Curry. He's never been down 0-2 before. But I don't think it's over.
I think the franchise, they've never been 0-2.
Really ever in history.
They were so bad, they've never even really made the playoffs. And then they were really good.
Nets are also
storming through the playoffs
2-0 after they lost to the 76ers last night as well. All right, speaking of ESPN basketball coverage, Brian Windhorst, who is always good. I mean, he was the LeBron guy at the beginning of his career and has turned it into a nice career as an ESPN NBA analyst, was doing the Get Up show appearance, which is filmed out of New York. So on the East Coast, it comes on, 6 or 9 in the morning East Coast, but it's 6 in the morning in the West Coast. Now, he was in Arizona for the Suns Clippers series, and he was doing his live shot like on a Zoom out of his hotel room somewhere in downtown Phoenix. But apparently it was a little early in the morning to be doing voice projection on live television because the guy in the room next door to him was not happy about it. And Brian explained
So
it.
what he's doing like East Coast hits.
Yeah, he's doing East Coast
hits.
hits on the West Coast.
Sitting at his Hampton Inn
Yeah.
desk with his laptop
They may need
in
him
front
at
of him.
7:30 a.m.
Right.
on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's early. I don't know exactly how early, but it's early. And there was someone who was not happy. He explained the
That's
situation.
why I'm playing injured. I'm trying to figure out, why are you the only one whispering? Everyone else is answering questions and talking. You're whispering. Why are you whispering?
Well, we all have adverse situations, and apparently someone in the hotel room next to me was not a get-up viewer and not happy about the early wake-up call here in Phoenix. And let's just say that messages have been delivered not in a soft manner.
Oh.
I'm trying to avoid having a wrap on any part of my body.
Did the hotel manager tell you, knock on your door and say, quiet down in there?
This individual did not contact the manager, but this point was made very strongly. So I'm trying to respect my neighbors here in Phoenix before 7 a.m. here.
Before 7 a.m.
Tell him
Poor
to turn
guy.
on again.
Poor guy.
Oh man.
All right, finally,
I don't have a do this. My do this was Manny's comments after the game last night.
that's fine.
DD mega doo-doo.
The Aztecs officially announced the transfer of Reese Dixon Waters, the sixth man of the year from USC. We talked about it last week, but he signed his grant in aid and officially joining the San Diego State basketball team, which is good news for Brian Dutcher. Still looking for a big man. Joseph Alec from New Mexico apparently has been visiting San Diego State, was a pretty decent player for the Lobos. I think it's crazy that with all the transferring that goes on now in the portal, used to be you couldn't, first of all, you had to sit out of here, and you couldn't transfer to like a conference rival. Now those rules are all out the window. You can go from your biggest rival to the other side and start playing against your old team the very next season. And we're going to see a lot of that in college basketball and in the Mountain West next season, which is pretty crazy. But Aztecs are in good position to take advantage coming off their run to the national championship
Keep up
game.
the good work, man.
Yep.
This is the fun part, building a new squad.
Had a couple of tweets from Padres fans last night asking, so when does Aztecs basketball season start? And that's don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, do I dare open the phone lines to Padres fans? 833-288-0973, or am I just inviting the accusations of the Padres apologists on the flagship station on the morning show here on Ben and Woods? I'm not apologizing. I don't feel like there's anything to apologize for. Baseball team loses baseball games. Guess what? They're going to lose more the rest of the season. I don't apologize.
I was just
for
told
them.
that we need to be harder on Manny Machado for his defensive effort last night. So I've seen it all.
Well, he didn't get that first ball that went under his glove.
The 107 mile an hour seed.
Yeah, didn't get that one.
Yep. Did you think he was being lazy on that play?
I didn't think so, but
I
could be wrong.
He said that you're a journalist and I'm not, because I'm not ripping Manny Machado.
Had he come up with that play, the Padres could have lost 1-0 instead of 2-0.
Manny Machado.
Makes you feel better.
You want me to come on these airwaves and question the defense, Manny Machado's defense? Manny Machado's defense is a problem now? What?
What's your radical
What are we
solution
doing?
then out there, Padres fans?
Manny Machado's defense.
If you think the problem is
what
severe,
in the world?
And
have you guys lost your minds?
And that's your right. Then what's your radical solution?
Did he half-ass that play? That 107 mile an hour screamer?
The one in which he had 0.3 seconds to react?
It was by his glove before it was bam. He was right on it. Holy smokes.
It wasn't
dude.
a 9-hopper that he let go through the
we have lost our collective minds. We've lost our collective minds here.
All right, we'll take some phone calls. Look at that. They're lit up already. Next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. You are the guest this segment.
Oh,
Call
wow.
in 833
ballsy.
288-0973.
It's all right, man. We said it.
Gluttons for punishment.
This is your couch, right? This is your couch. This is you get it off your chest. We're all getting things off our chest.
Again, if you want to look on the bright side, I'd rather be where the Padres are than where the Dodgers are right now.
Okay.
Dodgers actually have a better record. They're 8-9. Padres are 8-10. But the Dodgers' two best hitters are on fire at the moment. Freddie Freeman is being Freddie Freeman, had 2 more homers last night, sitting like 330. Max Muncy. So Max Muncy, remember, through April 9th,
dying.
Max Muncy was hitting 121 and had the most strikeouts in baseball. On April 10th, Ryan Phillips of the BigLead.com
jinxer
wrote about how Max Muncy was terrible and washed. Since that article came out,
God, Ryan.
Max Muncy is leading baseball with 6 homers and a 1,614 OPS. So thank you again for that, Ryan Phillips of the Big League. He keeps wearing it from me. I'm so sorry.
We have been so guilty of that so many times.
Here's the thing. Those guys can't really do any more for their team, and they're still not winning right now. They lost 7 of 10 and have dropped below 500. The Padres at least can say, well, I mean, we have a good idea that Manny Machado and Juan Soto will start hitting at some point, and they're not doing it right now, but they at least have the potential of being better. The Dodgers can't even really point to that and say, well, our stars aren't locked in yet. No, they are.
Well, I mean,
and they're still struggling.
Yeah, I mean, all right. We can talk about the Dodgers any day. Let's talk about the Padres.
All right, we'll get to these phone calls. The lines are lit up right now after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by 7-Eleven. Got a collision on the southbound 163 at Ash Street, right where the freeway ends. Couple cars involved. They are over to the right shoulder. Fortunately, no other problems, but keep in mind some slick roadways thanks to scattered showers. You definitely want to have your headlights on so other drivers can see you. It's still pretty gloomy out there. At 7-Eleven, our hot coffee is fresh or it's free. We don't compromise on our premium roasts, and neither should you. Hot 7-Eleven coffee is guaranteed fresh or it's free. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, here's a late don't do this. All Southwest Airlines flights grounded due to a computer issue as of 7:30 a.m. this morning. So if you're on your way to your airport, good luck with that. Kind of like the Padres offense, a little grounded right now in the Southwest. Let's go out to the phone lines, Padres fans. I know you're not happy. I know you're mad at us because we're probably to blame, but let's see what you've got to say. Let's start with, we got a couple mics on the line. Let's go up to Temecula. Mike, welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, thanks for the first vine here. Today was my first day to watch you guys on YouTube. It's pretty cool. I appreciate that.
Hey, good to see you. I'll wave at you. Hi.
I'll blow you. How about this?
Yeah.
I'll blow you a kiss.
This is not the jungle, though. We are not giving you a vine to swing in on.
I got you. Hey, I'm going back to what I was saying to you guys like last year is the bottom line is we're going to finish in the top 6 for the playoffs. That's all I want.
Yep.
Because it's just, if you look at the list, you guys are bringing up good points about, we should be playing better. You look at the paper, we should be like, who knows, 12-6 or whatever you want to say. But the surprising part is, which I was worried about, is our relief pitching. We were giving up tons of runs, and I know we're losing 1-0, 2-0, but when the starter gets out, our relief has like shut it down. But yes, we're not scoring, which we should. So I'm happy about that. Now it's just the creme de la creme is going to rise to the top. It's AZ's up on top right now. I don't see them sustaining the lead, so it's going to be a tooth and nail between, I believe, us and the Dodgers. And so it's like, you just got to do the old chillax, and just let it happen, because it will happen, and I guarantee that. Now, the issue that you brought up about Soto, I think we're in a great position to have Soto right now. We have a year and a half, like you said. Now, to me, I'm probably one of those rare guys that I believe I would want to spend more money towards trying to get Ohtani. But if that doesn't happen, we still got Soto, and Soto will become Soto. But it's just like, man, kind of, pick it up just a tad bit quicker. That's all.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys.
Agreed. Thanks
Mike,
so much,
thanks
man.
for the
Nice,
call.
good, solid call.
Buy low on Soto right now.
All right, good start.
I don't. It's intriguing to me. I mean, that's usually smart business. You buy low, you sell high.
Yeah.
And if you were going to negotiate an extension with Juan Soto,
he's not going to do it now.
I just don't think his agent Scott Boras would let him at this moment. Scott Boras knows as well as everybody else that Juan Soto will almost certainly get going and start putting up Juan Soto-like numbers, and then they'll be in a much better position to negotiate. So
we've talked about this before. I think it's safe to say that Scott Boras may be the best in the world at his job.
Yes.
Like in his field.
In his field, the top
the
of
separation is ridiculous.
Yep.
He is so good at what he does, and it sucks if you're a GM or an owner of a team, but he's very, very good. He's very, very smart at how he does business. You're not going to fool him.
Even he misses, though. Isn't Profar a Boras guy?
Yeah. I
he
guess
missed on that
technically
one.
Profar got more money from the Rockies than he would have from the Padres
Still
this
a miss,
year. But
man. It's still a miss.
Maybe he let the new guy in the office take care of that one.
Delegate it
intern.
to guys. All right.
Profar's probably not his number one client.
This is your first client. Don't F this up. Jerkson. Hey, it's Mike. You need to opt out, and you need to do so ASAP. The
Mike
market
from
for you
Scott
is through
Boras'
the-
office.
We're going to get you $18 million a year.
So, I mean, look, we got him under contract for another year and a half. So, he'll talk extension. I imagine, Ben, as soon as he starts hitting. Great. Let's start hitting and let the chips fall where they may. I like Scan talked to him before the game yesterday. He's got a smile on his face. He's working. They're all working through it. It sucks because you're not running out of time, though. You have plenty of time to figure it out. You got 140 something games to figure it out. And, if you don't, that's on you. I mean, I mentioned it yesterday. You turn down $440 million. That's quite a bit of pressure on you to know that, man, I'm batting $180 and I turned down $500 million. I got to pick it up.
All right. If we're looking for solutions, is it too insulting to drop Juan Soto in the lineup? Hit him 5th or 6th instead of 2nd or 3rd. Is it get too much into his head?
Yeah, no one's going to want to hear this. No one's going to want to hear this. Still gets on base. I mean, you need him to slug. You need him. He is going to be on the base pass, though, 40% of the time. So
when he walked at the end of last night's game, I was thinking, oh, God, people are going to rip him for that.
That's the tough part is like he got ripped for his walk the other day. Hey, look, it sucks. It sucks. I want him to hit doubles and homers and hell, a single would be great at this point. But he's still getting on base.
You drop Manny in the order then?
Maybe.
Hit him 5th or 6th until he gets going.
It's weird to me because we're going to sit in here and talk about track records, I'm going to let my superstars figure it out. And I don't look at it as, man, we're punting this game by hitting Manny and Soto 2 and 3 or 3 and 2 or whatever iteration. I still feel like I trust those guys enough that they will figure it out. They will.
I do too. But in the meantime, until they do, as I said, when you have two guys who are struggling back to back in the order,
maybe
it makes it very hard.
Maybe split them up. Maybe splitting them up
to put together rallies.
Maybe splitting them up is a better, tonight is Strider. So what if you did Grisham at the top? Then you do, I mean, they don't want to stack lefties, but you could go Grisham, Cronenworth, Soto,
Bogarts. You got to get Bogarts.
Top three. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, right? I mean, like you could go Grisham
that's hitting the ball.
Grisham, Bogarts, Cronenworth. You could mix it up a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, they've been very vocal about where they want to hit. So I just kind of I'm in the camp of like, look, Juan Soto said he doesn't like hitting second. Where did Bob Melvin have him last night? Second. So he still throws his weight around a little bit, I think, is the manager.
I mean, he hit the longest out of the game.
He did.
He walked once.
Yep.
He also hit a number in front of the plate and struck out.
Yeah.
So let's keep it. I got another Mike here. We come down to Mission Valley. Mike, next up on Ben and Woods. Good morning.
What's up, gentlemen? It's been a long time.
Yeah, Mike, how you been?
Hey, Mike.
Good, man. It's been good seeing you guys out at the ballpark. Other than Polly always avoiding me, but that's okay.
It's big time.
Polly likes the big time people. It's okay.
Big league.
Just you, Mike.
It's okay.
We are in no mood, Mike.
After a few beers, I can be a handful. I know this.
This is true.
Look, yeah, it is very true. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not worried at all. I've been watching baseball for 30 years.
Yep.
Okay. It's obvious to me that a lot of these people that are freaking out have not watched baseball for a very long time. And I'm talking, I've watched Major League Baseball for a very long time, very closely. I'm not worried, but I am frustrated as hell. That is for sure. Okay. There's a lot of things with approach that I'm seeing that is really upsetting. But at the same time, it's 162 games, people. Stop freaking out. Like, it's not helpful. It's not constructive. It doesn't do good things for the players. It doesn't do good things at all for the clubhouse. Like, dude, like, they hear the noise. Okay, there's really only one person that I'm willing to crap on, and that's Blake Snell, because Blake Snell, it's the same old stuff every start. Like, he nibbles, he doesn't adjust. Like, I'm willing to throw him under the bus. When it comes to Juan Soto, here's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that the guy is coming with an approach. First of all, he's already screwed up in the head because of the pitch clock. He needs to get over that hump. I don't know. That's a mental hump that he needs to get over. I don't know what it's going to take. I'm not a Major League Baseball player, but he's got to get over that hump, number one. Number two is he's coming up with an approach where he takes until he's got strike one. And he's got to play more aggressive. And I understand that he's really good at getting on base and he's walking. And I love that about his game. But when you wait on a pitch and the pitchers know they're scouting you, they know that you're going to wait for that first strike until you get that bat off your shoulder. How often do you actually see him swing on the first or second pitch until he has strike one? You don't, because he's working the count constantly. And I love that about him. But if they're going to drop it right down the hole for you to hit the ball down the middle, hit the damn ball. I think that's what I'm seeing. I don't know. Otherwise, like, guys, there's no reason to panic. It's been a few games. It's 162 games. If y'all can't stay on the bandwagon, jump off then. I don't care. We don't want you anyways. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mikey.
Thanks, Mike.
And Mikey is traditionally, I mean, Mikey has been a bit of a panicker. We've talked about it before, and you know, it's okay to be frustrated. Certainly, I don't know, and I honestly, I don't know that I agree fully with Juan Soto should get up there and hack at the first
I know
pitch.
he swung at the first pitch at least once last night. He was up in the zone, fouled it off.
The first AB.
Fouled it off.
He hacked at the first pitch. So that leads me to believe that he's, you know, looking to do damage.
You know, I think Mike is right though, and not just Juan Soto, but everybody. Jake Cronenworth is known for taking first pitches as well a lot, but you don't ever want to fall into a pattern where the opposing pitcher knows you're going to do something. You don't want to be the guy who always swings the first pitch, and you don't want to be the guy who always takes the first pitch. You have to mix it up. The batters and information in particular in Major League Baseball is too extensive and too detailed. Every opponent has a book on you. They have a scouting report, and if you fall into tendencies, even if they're short term, hey, have you noticed over the last 7 games, Juan Soto has been he's been swinging at these pitches on the outside part of the plate and missing. They'll attack you on that. They have these books. So you have to keep it a bit unpredictable and be able to change things up if you're a major league hitter.
I don't mind. I never have minded a selective approach. I haven't. I mean, it's kind of what you're taught. You know, you want to hit strikes, and it does suck when you miss a cookie. You know, that's a bad feeling when you miss a cookie. Varying it certainly helps from time to time. Hey man, if they're thinking I'm taking and they're going to lay me a cookie, I'm going to pound it first pitch, but you better do something with it. You know, if Juan Soto rolls that pitch over last night instead of fouling it off, aren't we all mad at Juan Soto? It's like he can't win right now. And that's probably how he's feeling as well. Like nothing I'm doing is right. I'm working walks, I'm getting on base, but I'm not driving in runs. I'm not helping my team score runs necessarily because nobody else is driving me in. You put pressure on yourself, Ben, if you're Juan Soto and you're like, I have to hit because Manny may not drive me in because he's also slumping. So it's such a vicious circle that you can get in your own head. And now you have 15 seconds to do it. So it is, they're in it, man. They're in the S right now. There's no question about it.
Do we feel better if the Padres lost 6-4 last night? Does that make a difference? Is it simply the 0 runs that is what has everyone upset, or is it the record of 8 and 10?
No, I think
I think it's 2 shutouts in a row.
2 shutouts,
just
back
a
to back
lifeless offense.
Back-to-back shutouts is tough.
They
Back-to-back
lose
shutouts is
7-4, 7-5. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah,
but that means you're probably blaming the pitching.
the manager.
Somebody came in and just it wasn't their night. But to have 9 guys go out there and have to say it wasn't their night, that sucks.
Yeah,
that's
it's tough.
brutal.
It's very, very tough.
It happens to every team though. When you get into a rut, it usually lasts a few days offensively. I mean, you see teams, if they don't get shut out twice in a row, they'll get shut out and get 1 run the next day because multiple guys are slumping at the same time.
Yeah.
And when that happens, your team doesn't score many runs in Major League Baseball. And then, a couple guys get out of it and you're back to normal. And that's how the ebb and flow of a baseball season works. The idea is not to never get shut out. The World Series champion will get shut out at least 5 to 10 times this year because every team does, even the good ones. The idea is to minimize it and to bounce back as quickly as possible. See if they can bounce back in the next day or two and start hitting again. Let's we still have more phone calls. We can keep them rolling here as we get into our third hour. Second half of Ben and Woods is on the way. 833-288-0973. Padres fans, we're here. 4 hours every morning. Glad to have you with us on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
halfway home already. Shockingly, I was taken aback to realize that we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here. That's about all I can muster. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Benjamin Higgins, journalist, sports journalist, expert on all
Channel 10.
Channel 10, sports journalist.
Woods.
Speaking of,
Where'd you get your journalism degree, by the way?
I actually did not
you did
study
it. That's
journalism
shocking.
at all.
That's shocking because
It's all on the job training.
Right.
But I've covered a lot of San Diego sports over the years.
Yeah.
Covered Doug Flutie back in the day, Chargers quarterback.
Congratulations.
He ran the Boston Marathon yesterday. Hey, what's the longest you've ever run?
A mile.
In one,
a mile.
One. I mean, whether it's on a treadmill
half.
or even in really, that's it. I mean, I hate running. I once did 3 miles on a treadmill. I thought I was going to die.
Jogging
the
whole time.
Yeah,
you didn't stop.
It was just. I mean, I get what's the lowest setting that can be considered still running? I mean, 6.2, 6 point something on the treadmill.
No, like 4.5, maybe 5, with no incline.
I hate in school on the mile run. I hate
the worst thing ever.
4 laps around the track. Those tracks are so long.
They're so long. What's your longest distance? You ran.
Paulie was a cross country runner.
You know, yours doesn't count.
Yeah, well, I would like to know though.
8 miles.
Yeah. Almost a half marathon.
No,
you did
not
5
even close,
more?
really.
5 more?
That's the thing. So yeah, I did cross country 1 year in high school. I wasn't a cross country runner. I did it 1 year to get in shape for basketball season, and my God, did it work. We did 5Ks, 3.1 miles. Those were the races. Some practices we did just sprints. Sometimes we did hills, interval training, and then every once in a while we got the long distance run. And one of those runs was 8 miles. I want to say we did it. It was between like 50 minutes and an hour, and
couldn't do it.
I was so gassed that I mean, it's weird. I got through it. We didn't stop. I ran with my buddy. We just hung out for an hour.
It's the other thing I can't do.
But
just chat.
To think, just do another 5 miles, and then you did a half marathon. I'm like, not a chance.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
I've walked 36 holes carrying a bag in one day, which is anywhere between 8 to 10 miles.
But you stop.
And you're not running. You're just walking. There's hills involved sometimes, but running I can't do.
I mean, I hiked Zion, Devil's Landing, and that was a nightmare. But I loved it. The scenery and everything made it bearable, and the challenge of it made it bearable. But to get on a treadmill and just chug. Yeah. My wife does it every day. She'll run between 5 to 10 miles. I can't really do it
anymore.
I get bored.
I would run in college. I'd go to San Diego State to the gym there, and I'd play basketball for 3 straight hours.
Right. And
I don't know how much mileage that would equate to, but I mean, you're drenched in sweat.
It's different.
But that's pretty much my cardio now, is hooping a couple times a week.
Right.
And you run 3 or 4 straight games, and you're like, okay, I feel like I just ran several miles, and at least I had fun doing it.
Do you have a pedometer? Do you have a watch
that
tells you how much you ran?
So think about this. Yesterday, the Boston Marathon, the winner was Evans Chebet, and he did it in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 54 seconds. So if he started running when our show started at 6 a.m., when we hit the music, he would be coming down the tape right now, finishing in 1 minute after running 26 miles. You said that first couple hours flew by. Imagine if you were just running that entire time at fairly top speed to get done in 26.2 miles in 2 hours and 5 minutes.
We need to go run a mile as a show on the track. We have to do it and see best effort what our time would be.
I'm down.
I'd be 14 minutes. Do you think you could do it in under 15?
I could do it in under 15, I think.
I don't know.
A mile?
A mile.
Yeah, I could do
it.
You
could speed walk a mile.
Yeah, I feel like
that's true.
I feel
that's
like
true.
Just walking fast. I think the
10 minutes is
I think the over under is 10.
Bad.
I think 10 to 11 is like the right over under number for overweight 40 somethings who don't run at all.
I mean, when I was in high school, it was like if you can't do it in 8 minutes,
Yeah, they laugh you out of the gym.
You're in trouble. That you failed gym class.
I hate running. I hate running so much. I hate any cardio.
Fastest mile I ever ran was 6:15. It was in a cross country meet, which cross country meets were typically hilly. They had terrain in them, and there was one meet every year that was completely dead flat. You didn't have to run through any sort of like woods or forestry or anything like that. It was super flat, and that's where you knew I'm getting my best 3-mile time today of the whole year. And they would have people at each mile marker letting you know what your time was, so you could kind of pace yourself for the rest of the race. And after the first mile, I'm running by and somebody goes 6:10, 6:12, 6:15. I go, huh? What? No. And I'm just like, all right, I got to slow down. Can't keep that up.
My brother's doing an Ironman this weekend in Austin.
Now that's
full Ironman. So that's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then a marathon, 26.2 miles.
He goes, as long as I finish in 22 hours, I'm happy. Like, excuse me, you're gonna exercise for 22 hours?
So
Like, I think that's what he said, 22 hours or 18, something like that. I go, really? You're gonna exercise for 18 straight hours? All right.
I remember watching that Ironman Hawaii when they would air it on television, because there was never
God, you
anything
really
to
will watch any sport.
Not
in
recently,
the
but
world.
when I was a kid, they'd put that on one weekend. It was taped, and you'd see at the end they'd show the final finishers in the dark, like 9 hours after the winner had crossed the finish line, and these people are staggering in, because I think they cut it off after 24 hours, and if you don't make it,
You're
then
done.
You're done.
Dominic tweets in, it's wild to think the Boston Marathon winner took longer to finish than the Red Sox game, 1 hour and 57 minutes. Holy smokes, man. Yeah,
there was a rain delay.
There was a rain delay.
Yeah.
But listen, it's never going to be my thing. I dated a girl one time that was like insistent that I train for a half marathon. I was like, let's start with a 5K. Let's do that. That I can do. I can train for a 5K and get it done. But well, congratulations to the Boston Marathon winner. Another thing I know that will never kill me. We talk a lot about, hey, you know how I won't die? I won't die jumping out of an airplane. I won't die base jumping. I probably won't die from shark attack because I'm really never in the water. I'll never die jogging. Right? Or unless I'm running after like an ice cream truck.
There you
but
go.
Other than that, I'm never going to die.
I mean, I feel
from
like,
running.
yeah, if you had to actually like chase after something, or something was chasing you, the lack of running could be what ended up killing you when
true.
you actually had to do
It's
it.
true.
Because they do say running can be fatal to people who don't run. That's why I don't do it. Don't want to do it.
That's exactly why I don't do it.
Don't risk it.
Yeah,
Why risk it?
It's just not rewarding at all. Runner's high is something I've never experienced. I never will. Never, ever, ever. Want to get to some more phone calls?
Yeah, 833-288-0973. Our friend Alfredo is on the line. Good morning, Alfredo.
Hey, buddy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
So I don't know. I don't know what to talk about now. The Padres.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. In running. I got exhausted just by listening to you guys talk about running.
I know.
It's not good for anyone.
It's
not even for the Padres, apparently losing by shutout twice. I don't know, man. Like, I think it has to change. They're going to lose, 55, 57 more games at least, according to what they were expecting. How many games to win? 95?
Yeah, 95
They're
to
going to
100.
lose like 50. They're going to lose 55 more times at least. Will it change? Well, it has to. And I think that dynamic will change starting Thursday, barring any rain delays or anything dumb like that. I mean, so who's going to hit cleanup? I don't know. Machado, Tatis, Sander, Nelly. I mean, like, you have so many guys that you can run up there and not depend solely on Hassan Kim, Martinola, and Sugar to be fighting at the bottom, or Odor, whoever the hell they're running out. I mean, like, it's exciting. It's gonna get better, and it's gonna stay good for a while. Like, those winning streaks are gonna overshadow those 2-game shutouts that are being handed by really, really, really good teams.
Yeah, no doubt.
hopefully
I love the positivity, and I definitely feel the same way. It doesn't. I know those guys are frustrated. I don't see lifeless guys. I don't see guys not trying. I see maybe some guys trying too hard. I see that it's just such a hard game. Hitting is just so hard. It's just so hard. I can't even imagine at that level how hard it is. I just that's why I am sympathetic. That's why I am a bit of a homer. I know how hard it is. It's seemingly impossible sometimes, and the slightest change in your mechanics, the slightest drop of your hand. Manny hit that ball so hard up the middle last night. Would have at least gotten us on the board. 105 right to Ozzy Albies, who was positioned perfectly. It's a game of inches. Austin Nola's almost knocked the night before. Those breaks will start going our way. It has to. The law of averages says that these guys aren't going to be like this. So I know it's hard to swallow. I know it's hard to stomach. It's hard for me. It's hard to watch. You don't want to go into every game now going. I was guilty last night. First ball hit 107 miles an hour by Manny. Juan Soto trips in left and slips, and now the guy's on second for a double. Next pitch home run, and you're like, Jesus, dude, here we go. We're down 2-0 every single game. That offense is now going to have to find itself climbing out of a hole.
I want to talk about that pressure of being behind
every game
as well. But let's get another call in here. Let's go to Roger. You're next up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Hey, Roger.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, couple fun things. First of all, shout out to Cronenworth for having the way he's played first base this year. That guy is just absolutely amazing. Also,
nice play last night. Really nice play.
Yeah.
That play, that diving play
down the line.
Really, really nice play.
Yeah, he does everything you ask him. He's kind of like Martinez in the rotation.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but notice there's a little bit of Nelson Cruz in Manny's approach at the plate. If you notice, their stances are very, very similar.
I'm glad you
Manny
brought that
worships
up.
Nelly.
He worships Nelly.
Look at Nelly Cruz.
Dude, you're. I saw that. I saw that the other day, and I had to double take. I was making the kids lunches, and I go, "Oh, Manny! Oh no, that's Nelly! It is. It's
Manny got a beard.
It's very, very
going
similar.
gray a little bit.
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
And both of those guys, when they barrel it, boy, stay out of the way for sure. I mean, Nelly almost killed a guy, and Manny almost killed a guy the other day. Those guys. That's exactly it. Both beautiful, beautiful right-handed swings from both of those cats. But yeah, you can definitely see the influence there. Good notice there.
We got some more calls coming up. 833-288-0973. I also want to address pressure, and especially the pressure that I feel like is going to be put on Fernando Tatis Jr. here, and why I think the next two games are actually pretty critical because of that. We'll talk about that coming up. Again, you can call us 833-288-0973. More Ben and Woods on the way after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
the most
This baseball season, get more out of your bets with BetQL. BetQL's MLB model has hit 59% of all bets to start the season for a total return of over $2,500 on $100 bets. Unlock the best bets for each day of the MLB season, exclusive articles, expert betting trends, and more. Sign up today for a free three-day trial. Visit BetQL.com today. So I got this tweet, and I've probably seen similar ones. This is from Dago Tom, who says, I'm hoping Fernando provides the spark the Padres need to get going. Sometimes the difference between scoring 7 runs and getting shut out is getting that one clutch hit that starts an avalanche. I also think guys are pressing, but Fernando is a guy who has a flair for the dramatic. I mean, we're all thinking it, but I also worry that given the fact that he's been gone for over a year, wouldn't it be nice to insert Fernando Tatis Jr. into a lineup that didn't desperately need him to carry it and put it on his back, at least for the first couple of weeks? Like, hey, come on in and feel relaxed, get comfortable. Don't feel like the pressure of the world on turning around the season is on your shoulders on the very first day.
I mean, it is what it is. This is where we are. And there's an aspect, the revenge tour, if healthy, is going to be sweet, and I think he feels it, and I think he's seen it. I don't know that I don't know that he's going to feel that, Ben. I don't know. Have we seen pressure get to Fernando Tatis Jr. before? Yeah, we have. When he had a busted ass shoulder and he was still in the lineup trying to play, we saw him and Manny get into it in the dugout. The pressure has gotten to him before. Certainly, I'm not a body language expert, nor do I want to be. I'm just gonna watch what he does on the field. What he's done on the field at the AAA level has been spectacular. I don't think you can count on that sort of production from Fernando Tatis Jr., but I sure hope he proves me wrong. I do feel like a rising tide lifts all boats. I do. I feel like once he comes back, there will be a sense of, okay, this is the complete lineup. There is no more, there's no more jockeying and wondering who's going where. I do feel like it's such an obvious statement. It's going to be a huge help for this team. Now, if they go get shut out again twice in a row, which, by the way, very well could happen because it's stupid baseball. That's I don't think you're going to get too worked up about that either. But just glad to have him back. I'm glad to have him back. He's a cornerstone of this franchise. He's a statue contract. We've missed him. He's really good. It's going to be an adventure in the outfield, I think, a little bit. But, man, on the base paths where we could really, really use him, and at the plate where we could really use him, I think it's going to be great. I don't want to tell Padres fans how to fan. It's your right to fan. If you want to be upset, if you want to be mad, if you want to be panicked, it's your right to fan however you want to fan. I refuse to get concerned about an 8-10 record. Yeah.
18 games into the season.
That's fair.
In fact, it was pointed out in the UT this morning that last year, the Phillies, who got to the World Series, didn't win it, but they got there. They were under 500 for most of April through June. In 2019, the Nationals, of course, were well under 500 into June before they went on to win the World Series. In 2018, the Dodgers were never above 500 until after June, and they went to the World Series in that year. I mean, the Braves in 2021 under 500 until after the All-Star break and went on to win the World Series. Early season record is actually a very poor indicator of who's going to be lifting the trophy and playing deep into October.
If you don't, I will say this, as far as telling people how to fan, I will say, if you don't think this team has a winning streak in them, then I think that you're kidding.
Foolish.
I think you're cool. I think you're kidding yourself. If you look at this team and don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, if you look at this team and don't see the potential for greatness, even after this 8-10 start, I think you're fooling yourself a little bit. I do. You might be eating paint chips.
Now there are some teams that their early season record will be indicative of how they play the rest of the year. The Oakland A's are right now 3-14. Pretty sure it's going to be a bad year for the Oakland A's. The Pittsburgh Pirates are off to a
pretty good start.
10-7 start. Don't know that that's going to hold all season long, but they're playing some good baseball right now. as are the Cubs at 9-6. The Rockies are 5-12. Man, that might be indicative. The Rays are 14-3. Not going to be that good, but I think they're probably going to be pretty decent this season. There's a chance that this 8-10 start is exactly who the Padres are, and we'll look back in September and go, yeah, they're a team that just is a sub 500 team. We just totally missed on it in the offseason.
We and every other human on the planet. So I'm not going to feel too bad. But I mean, I'll feel miserable. But
more than likely, a team filled with the kind of players that the Padres have will have more good runs than bad runs. They'll have another bad run in them, by the way. They'll get going. They'll go on that winning streak. They'll be playing good baseball. And guess what? Sometime in June or July, they'll go into a bit of a swoon for a week or two and have a bad run again, because every baseball team does. You don't know where on the calendar the good and the bad are going to fall. You just want to make sure you have more good runs than bad runs over the course of the year. And that should be okay for this team at the end of the season. Then play your best baseball at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted yesterday, let's peak in October. Let's peak in September. Let's see how it plays out. It sucks. It's not, we're all going to go to the TV tonight. We're gluttons for punishment because we love this game. We love this team. You're going to go sit and you're going to watch it and you're going to struggle through it.
They could score 15 runs tonight. They scored 10 2 games ago.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. Like I said, if you don't think that this team has a run in them, I don't know what to tell you. I still do, and I do believe that this team has a great season ahead. Right now they're scuffling.
Let's get to the phones again.
I don't like the home record. I would like to see them play a little bit better at home. I would. They're 4-7
now. A lot of Padres teams have scuffled in April at Petco Park, and I don't know why it's the Padres and not the opponent so much, but it's just not a friendly place to play early in the season.
Feels friendly for other teams.
Marine Lake, it does, but for the home team that has to do it more often, it has never been a friendly April place for the most part. Let's go to Jed. You're next up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Hey, Jed.
Good morning, boys. How you doing?
Hi, Jed. How are you? Jed is not a name. Jed's not a name that's used enough, by the way. I'll say that right now.
And it's not short for anything, too. Shout out my parents.
Just not Jedediah
You're not
or anything.
Josiah or
No, just Jed.
That's a bad. I'm
What's
actually
Jed Hoyer. Is he just a Jed too?
Jed. I love that name. What do you got for us, pal?
I wrote a song. No, I'm just kidding.
USOB is the only thing that could have made my morning worse.
No, so 2 things for you. I'm wondering what you guys think the lineup's going to be when Tatis comes back.
Yep.
What I think would work is obviously hit Tatis lead off, and you just bump everybody back one.
Yep.
That way, Manny's back in the 3 holes. Soto's happy and gets to see as many pitches as he wants. Worst case, he leads off the second. He gets to be a leadoff hitter, be selective. So that's number 1. And then number 2 is how quickly till Bob Melvin's in the hot seat. Because if this was the NFL or the NBA, ESPN would already be talking about the coach. So I'm just wondering how long till if we shake something up, would they look to the manager? I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Man, that's such a good question, and it's the proper, in my opinion, it's the proper way to ask that question, because I don't know. I liked his comments last night. We have not played them yet. Paul, you have his what Bob said after the game last night.
Yeah, we got a couple
of them.
lines here.
Fire away.
Just start with this one.
Just going through one of those things right now. We are getting some pretty good pitching, and we get into a spot where we got a chance. We don't come through. Manny hits the ball really hard. Hits it right at the second baseman for a double play. But yeah, having a little funk offensively, especially when we get a chance.
So it's no surprise that I'm team Bob Melvin. Now, I didn't know a lot about Bob Melvin before he got here. The only thing that we can do for our jobs is ask every other player / person that covered him, that
player, coach, media member,
that was a beat writer under him, that was a player for him, that has been around the game. Skip Schumacher, who's now the manager of the Miami Marlins, was willing to take an outfield assistant job just to learn at his hands, like just to learn, be around Bob Melvin. That's all I can look at. And yeah, are there in-game situations that Bob Melvin where I go, all right, last night, perfect example. Was I on the edge of my seat when he left Ryan Weatherson last night? Yeah, I was. I absolutely was. I went, oh God, this is ballsy Bob right now. He got out of it. That goes to me. That speaks volumes about what he thinks about his players. I like that in a manager that doesn't panic. We were here under Andy Green and Jace Tingler, who panicked at any sign, Ben, of anything going wrong. There would have already been 2 players-only meetings that were ushered in by Jace. Hey, you need to get the team together. I'll go in my office. We heard that. We heard there were meetings every day. We heard that there were meetings every single day when Jace was here. Guys, that can't happen at the professional level. It just can't. It's going to wear on guys. It doesn't work.
But as for Jed's question, when does Bob get on the hot seat? I don't know when fans put him on the hot seat.
They
I don't know
already
when
have.
the media puts him on the hot seat. But the only person whose opinion really matters, so maybe 2 people, AJ Preller and Peter Seidler.
I mean, your opinion matters. Everyone's opinion matters. He's going to get the season. If the season finishes at 500, I'd say he's on the hot seat.
I don't even know. I mean, I
think it would be Bob Melvin's fault that the team finished 500?
No, but do you
think Peter Seidler would blame Bob Melvin for a 500 season? Then he's not on the hot seat. He's not going to be on the hot seat. Bob Melvin, my prediction will be the manager of the Padres until the day he wants to retire. Now, he said
I agree with that. Yeah.
He originally said, I'm probably just in for these 3 seasons of my contract. He has amended that a little bit. And in spring, I believe he said, might be willing to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
This is going pretty fun. I'm having a good time. But I predict
the only reason he gets on the hot seat is because he loses the clubhouse. If he loses the clubhouse, there's not a manager in baseball that wouldn't have lost the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And you have bigger problems because it's your players.
Well, that's and that's the thing that when we asked everybody, what makes him so great?
Yeah, who do they want to bring in?
Right.
If Bob Melvin isn't the solution for your manager.
That's the thing that it was. He knows how to manage players and he knows how to manage egos and he knows how to. He's a master. I don't want to say manipulator. But I use that in the right word of I know he knows how to finesse and
he knows when to give the tiny nudges and when to give a little stronger push and when to back off.
And communication is his number one thing. He lets guys know this is what's expected of you, and if it doesn't happen, then we'll have to talk.
But he's not asleep at the wheel.
No, it drives me
He's
nuts.
not. He's not. Fans think that he's nodding off and not paying attention to what's going on. That couldn't be further from the truth.
Please don't lump him in with Tony La Russa, who, by the way, had a brilliant managerial career 30 years ago. He's not that. I don't get that sense from him at all. And nor do I feel like his players don't play for him. I feel that. I feel that they do.
But ultimately, it only matters what Peter Seidler thinks. And Peter Seidler is an exceptionally patient man. I mean, AJ Preller probably should have been on the hot seat long ago. He doesn't get on the hot seat. He gets extensions.
Yes.
Based on what he's done. Really, what has AJ necessarily done to earn so much faith in the owner? But he's got it, and he's not going anywhere. And I don't think Bob's going anywhere either. By the way, just quickly, the lineup question. I think Jed was right on the money. Actually, Bob has pretty much said it's Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, but I wouldn't mind seeing Tatis, Bogarts, Soto, Machado.
Right.
Split up, get the lefty split up from Cronenworth by hitting Soto third, move Manny back while he's, still trying to get it going. And then when Manny gets hot, you got to move him up a little bit to third or even second. But right now, I wouldn't mind seeing Tatis and then Bogarts just right off 1-2 in your lineup. Although Bogarts says he likes his numbers. His numbers are good too, but he doesn't like it. What is it again? I keep forgetting. He says 2 is my favorite spot.
My numbers
aren't great. So
he's got a long-term deal now. So just go. Yeah. You're here. You're here till you're done. Xander is a great. He's been. Where are we without Xander? By the way,
I just told him I don't mind hitting anywhere on the lineup, but just not second. And second is actually my favorite spot, but my numbers doesn't work out there, so I don't want to be in a position where my numbers aren't.
Go enjoy your favorite spot for a little bit and hit second behind Fernando Tatis Jr. Let's just see how it goes, because I think you're going to get a lot of pitches. Fernando's going to be distracting a lot of guys out there, and second might be fun, Xander. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 2 guests in our final hour with both Jesse Agler and AJ Cassavell. So Paulie's going to give us a little early Reindl report with some more headlines when we return with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Ultimately, the biggest issue with the Padres continues to be the same thing it was yesterday, and that is hitting with runners in scoring position. They once again went hitless last night, Woods, 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They are 0-7 now when failing to get a hit with runners in scoring position. They're 8-3 when they get at least one hit with runners in scoring position. I think 4 of those games were just one hit as well. That means in 11 of their 18 games, they have gotten one or fewer hit with a runner in scoring position.
It's not a good recipe for success. I remember I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as you know, back in when the Cowboys were in their heyday. I was really a big Cowboys fan, but I listened to sports talk radio. Do you know that the Cowboys are 39-0 when Emmitt Smith touches the ball 28 times in a game? In my mind, I'm like, I'm literally going to give it to him
the first 28
plays of the game. We'll never lose again. Like that's just kind of, it's just one of those stats where it's like, yeah, obviously you can't live and die by the home run because they're not hitting enough home runs to live and die by. They're just not. I mean, if they were, fine. Hey, we're not hitting with runners in scoring position unless it's a big 3-run bomb. But I mean, just a knock, just a single, a bleeder.
Yeah. And sometimes they've struck out with runners in scoring position, and sometimes they've hit 106 mile an hour one hoppers that end up in a double play like Manny did last night. It's not the same problem every single time. It's not that easy to fix. In fact, it may not even really be a problem at all. Hitting is hitting, and guys on base are guys not on base. The only thing different is really mental when there's guys on base. And usually those numbers even out over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Said it earlier yesterday. Those numbers will tend to even out. And if the Padres continue winning at a 8 of 11 clip, as long as they get one hit with a runner in scoring position, they're going to do that in the vast majority of their games. They're going to end up with a really good record. These games where they don't get any hits with runners in scoring position, we'd like to see them. Man. We'd like to see them, at least put on the side for a while.
It's very, very, very tough to win without getting those stakes, without cashing those guys in. There's a couple of opportunities that are going to stick in my craw, probably Bob Melvin's craw, probably Ryan Flaherty's craw. First and third the other day, nobody out. You don't score. I mean, that you have to score. You have to figure out a way. You're so good. You have so much ability. You got to figure out a way to scratch those runs in. You just have to. And those are the opportunities I think that really, really bug me. It's not, hey, you're not hitting the ball. You're not hitting a lot of home runs, and you're not gapping balls. It's just the little. If you do more little things right, I think you're going to win more ball games. And I'm not sitting up here talking about bunting and things like that. Lazy fly balls, some breaks got to go your way too. Things have to go your way. You're going to need a ball to hit off the rubber. You're going to need a ball to catch the chalk. I mean, it's got to change.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, hey, there's a runner at third. All we need is a little fly ball to score the run. But the difference between a sacrifice fly and a pop-up that doesn't score the run is 1 millimeter on the swing on a ball that's maybe dipping 16 inches by a pitcher. So
that's what I'm saying.
If you miss that by 1 millimeter instead of a sac fly, what you were going for, you end up with a pop-up to the infield.
There's no doubt. And it's those situations, though. Again, let's get this crap out in April. Get it all out in April. Get it all done. All this striking out with a runner at first and third, not getting the job done, not getting a runner over, and pull a ball to the right side. There's all kinds of things, that this team can be better at. They know that. They don't need me or you or anybody else to tell them that. They know they're not getting the job done with runners in scoring position, and it's weighing on them tremendously, just like it's weighing on all of us. But that is baseball in a nutshell. It just, some days Nola's ball is gonna hit the line, and we're gonna score 2 runs. We're gonna win that game. Last night, Manny's ball is gonna hit off the base, shoot up into the air, and 1 run scores. It just, that's the nature of the game.
Even if you're on fire and your team is hitting top to bottom, eventually you will fail with runners in scoring position because you will make 27 outs in the game.
Yeah.
And even if you got 3 hits with runners in scoring position, you got 2 more guys out there and someone left them out there. You don't clean up every single inning no runners left on base. We scored every run. That's not how baseball works. The idea is simply try to delay it, a couple of batters and get 1 or 2 hits with runners in scoring position. But eventually you're not going to get the guy in. You're not going to just stay up forever and score 150 runs. I mean, this is failure. It's just, you're just trying to minimize it slightly. Every team fails with runners in scoring position every single night. You just have to do it a little bit less and you'll have plenty of success.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic, and then Paulie's going to get us some headlines here with the Reindl Report.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Problems on the coastline, crash blocking the HOV lane on southbound side near La Costa, and on the northbound side past Poinsettia, collision over the right shoulder. Also getting reports of a hit-and-run accident westbound King Freeway just before Bancroft, that is, over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul. All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen.
Breaking news, Paulie. My 2-year-old has pooped in the toilet for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
Just now.
That was actually my first story.
breaking news across the high-speed sports wire. Congratulations, Taylor, for getting that first one out of the way. It's tough to get that first one
It's
out
almost
of the way.
like a hit with a runner in scoring position, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. You gave me a nice little thumbs up. I mean, I'm so proud of my little guy. Congratulations, bud.
We did have some breaking news in the NFL this morning, and it's good news. Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to playing football.
I'm dicey on it, man.
I know. Buffalo GM Brandon Beane said he's got the okay. He saw his specialist last Friday, and he is currently in attendance and participating at voluntary workouts for the Bills right now, off-season workouts.
It's you talk to guys that played football and stuff, and they say that's what I was, that's what I was born to do. There's nothing that could keep me off the field. And I looked at what happened with Damar, one of the scariest things I've ever seen in a football field. And me personally, big wimp that I am, I'm like, I'm good. Just dodged a major bullet, and I will be a vocal cheerleader and supporter.
I think it'd be more difficult for me if I was on the other team, and
knowing he's back,
like
kid
I don't
gloves
know,
a little bit.
You don't really want to smash him right in the
know.
chest again. It's like, just wish I don't have to hit that guy.
Boy, you want to talk about fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed, prayers up, all of that for Damar Hamlin.
I mean, and the doctors and the NFL all know this. So if they weren't almost 100% sure that it was going to be okay, I don't know that they let him back.
You're talking about the NFL here. Did you see the movie Concussion with Will Smith? A brilliant film. With a brilliant film, brilliant performance, the worst subject matter that blows your mind. You're like, I knew this, I knew it, but now I really know. It's a very, very tough sport. The older I get, to really, really root hard for.
I mean, if
It's
doctors
tough.
were saying, I don't know, I mean, it's up to you. It's kind of dicey.
Yeah.
You go back, there's a good chance you may drop dead on the field. The NFL would say no. They know that would be a massive PR disaster.
Would they?
Yes, they would. They don't want to take. Damar Hamlin isn't moving the needle.
No, I get it.
In the NFL,
That's
they're not risking. Oh my God, I can't believe you let him back out there and now he died on the field. I mean, the protest. I mean, the outrage after all the love that he got would be so intense that I don't think they do this unless they felt very confident that it's fine.
And there's only really one person that needs to make that decision. After the doctors clear you, it's up to you. Do you want to do it? That's your life, man. That's your life, and that's what you do. It's how you feed your family. So I'm not going to begrudge him that. I will be pulling extremely hard for him to be healthy and safe out there.
All right. Time's of the essence. I will hold off on my second story. Save that for another day.
This is huge news.
I got really big news
This is
here.
This affects us a lot.
Yeah. McDonald's is changing up their burgers a little bit, including the Big Mac, but not only the Big Mac. So the Big Mac is getting more Big Mac sauce. They're trying to just switch things up a little bit. That's just with the Big Mac. Now the buns are changing as well. They're going to be a little bit softer than they were before. McDonald's describes the new ones as pillowy buns that are freshly toasted to a golden brown. The cheese will be meltier. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what
It's
I'm
actually
rolling
gonna
with.
be liquid. They just pour it on now.
I don't know if they're changing the type of cheese or if they're just going to cook it differently so that it's not like a slice of American
But it's
cheese
like
or something.
cold and not milk. You're like,
Yeah.
buddy, you didn't even nuke this,
Yeah,
right?
it's still got those corners that are on the edge. You could just peel it right off. That's not good.
The onions are changing. As opposed to just throwing them on at the end, they're going to add them to the burgers on the grill and create a more caramelized onion flavor.
Those onions, the little diced onions, I like those.
Chopped ones.
I like
they're going to
those.
cook them a little bit.
I
And
don't mind that.
then,
I don't mind
like I
that
said,
at
this
all.
is going to apply to burgers, cheeseburgers, double cheeseburgers, McDoubles, and of course the Big Macs.
When is this kicking off?
Well, that's the thing. I think you're losing the bigger part of the story. That you'll know when your market has changed.
Yes.
They're going to do
when
it.
you see the Hamburglar. Because they're bringing the Hamburglar back
They
to
are?
promote the new burgers. So when they start running Hamburglar ads here in San Diego, you'll know that all the McDonald's
They've
have
already
started
posted a couple of ads.
making the
it
new
says here
burgers.
the burgers are going to be rolled out in a few West Coast cities: Denver, Seattle, Phoenix, Vegas, and LA. They'll do a soft rollout, and then by early next year, all the McDonald's
Who
will
was
have
your
the new burger.
Who was your favorite McDonald's character growing up?
What do I have to choose from? Ronald was terrible.
Ronald McDonald.
Oh,
yes.
God. Creepiest.
There was a
I had nightmares.
Grimace, the big purple Grimace.
I think Grimace I liked.
I liked the Hamburglar.
But I think I liked the Hamburglar
I liked
too.
Grimace.
He was a swashbuckler.
He was
bold.
a felon, as
Yeah,
I
he was.
I enjoyed those.
I mean, even when he wasn't in jail, he was still wearing the jail stripes all out. I mean,
stripes.
Yeah.
What an interesting marketing. Let's get a criminal.
Well, there was a bird when they
A
came out with the
creepy
chicken
clown.
McNuggets. There was
A
like
criminal.
Birdie, wasn't there? Like
Was
Birdie
there?
the bird.
I don't remember Birdie.
A criminal, a clown, a creepy clown, a big purple blob, a criminal who stole hamburgers.
Yes.
I really do think there was a bird at some point. I could be confusing it with Sesame Street, though.
You looking up McDonald's characters?
I'm not.
Oh.
None of us are. We're just trying to remember.
I'm
them.
watching people panicking about the burgers. Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Birdie the early bird. I think they promoted Officer Big Mac. Does anyone remember Officer Big Mac?
No. As long as they don't mess with the fries there, we're in good shape. Great. Guess what I'm going to get after this?
Good luck running that mile.
Thanks a lot, Paulie.
The Fry Kids. Remember the Fry Kids? Mayor McCheese. How could we forget Mayor
I don't
McCheese?
remember any of this. You are
You
quite
don't remember
the
Mayor
aficionado.
McCheese?
No, I don't.
I do. I definitely remember Mayor McCheese. He was like the respectable one of the group. What was Grimace? I don't know.
Like a not a bear. What is he?
I don't know, he's just a big purple blob of some sort. All right. Thank you for the Rondell Report. We got guests coming up, including AJ Casavelli, getting some good quotes from Manny Machado last night in the clubhouse. Talk to AJ next on 97.3 The Fan. Somehow the conversation turned from McDonald's characters to Long John Silver's.
Once a year, buddy. If I could find one, I would eat it once a year.
You like your fried fish fillets?
And the chicken planks, and they look
Planks.
the same. Yeah, they look the same.
They actually call them planks.
Yes, they do. We had them.
They're not quite nuggets. They're not quite strips. They're
It's like
planks.
planks. Yeah, it's like a fillet.
Like walk the plank.
Yeah.
Like a pirate.
I think there's still a Long John Silver's in El Cajon.
Is there
There
really?
used to be one right
There
by
used
the
to be
sports
one.
arena.
There's
I don't
not
know
one
if it's
there
there
now.
anymore.
I'm
Yeah.
there a lot.
There was
I've
one
never
on
seen one.
by the Parkway Plaza Mall that I would drive by.
I think
Never
there's
been
still a
there.
Red Lobster over there.
It's a rough. It's a rough.
That's a little
go.
more higher end.
Yes, yes. It's a rough go, but once a year, it's well worth it if you can find one.
Well, I mean, AJ Cassavell probably knows all the good spots on the road covering the San Diego Padres and joins us now on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Well, we've been dealing with a panicked fan base this morning. AJ, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. I think Manny Machado did his best to reassure everyone last night in his own Manny Machado way.
Yes.
It is April, but what is baseball if not cause for panic after 10 losses in 18 games?
Why should we believe Manny Machado? And
What has he earned, right?
Understand my tongue is a bit in my cheek right there, AJ, but go ahead and answer it seriously.
Well, for Manny, and I think like there are some flaws that are kind of worth nitpicking on this roster right now. There's definitely, I think, like Juan Soto's slump probably is a bit more cause for concern than Manny Machado's, considering that Soto's dates back to prior to last season's trade. Manny Machado, it's easy to believe why he'll break out because he's done it before, and because he's gotten off the slow starts before, and then he gets torrid hot and reels off these like 3-month stretches where he's the best hitter in baseball. But there are flaws right now, and there are flaws that would likely be masked if Manny Machado, Juan Soto were hitting, if Fernando Tatis Jr. were here, if Joe Musgrove were here. And so I think the proper sentiment probably lies somewhere between being kind of ambivalent to it and being panicked. I mean, there are flaws to point out, but it is April 18th or whatever it is.
Can you walk us through, because I was hitting the sack last night when I saw your tweet come out, and it was Manny's comments. Now, I didn't see any video, AJ, but walk us through it, because Manny will have a wry smile on his face when things are going good, when things are going bad. Manny will also get fired up. We've seen him get fired up. What was kind of his, and let's do the body language expert. Did you get a sense of frustration, or was he kind of the, hey man, I'm Manny effing Machado, I'll break out of it? Or was it like, hey, y'all need to quit riding us, we're going to figure it out? What was it like?
It was the Manny Efren Machado kind of thing.
Good.
It was not he is so even keel, and when things go bad, he kind of gets. I mean, the nature of Manny Machado in the clubhouse is that when things go bad, he is the same Manny Machado. When things go good, he's the same Manny Machado. So when things go bad and we ask him about the things that are going bad, he kind of gets annoyed that we're asking about the things that are going bad. And when things go good and we ask him about the things that are going good, he gets a little annoyed that we're asking about the things that are going good, because he just wants to kind of maintain such a steady day in, day out persona. And he always kind of says, like, we'll reassess at the end of the season and see what we've done. And they think they have enough with this group to do some big things this year. So it was just the version of Manny Machado that takes the big picture view all the time. It's just who he is. He's always had this mindset where how often in his interviews does he say, you just play baseball? Like,
just play baseball.
That's his mindset. You just go out there and play baseball.
That's it.
And when you're Manny Machado, if you go out there and play baseball, you're going to have 18 game stretches that aren't great, and you're probably going to have 162 game stretches that are really great.
Talking to AJ Cassavell covering the Padres, MLB.com. And I did contend earlier that while I'm firmly in the camp that Manny Machado and Juan Soto will break out of their slump, at this point, with both of them scuffling at the same time, to have them connected 2-3 in the order is really the biggest flaw in the Padres lineup right now. It's very hard to score when the guys who get up the most and are back-to-back are not doing anything. Do you get any sense that Bob Melvin might shake things up with those guys, drop someone, do something a little bit different? I know he switched them back 2 and 3, but ultimately they've been back-to-back in the order for almost every game this season.
I haven't gotten that sense because I don't necessarily see there's no other Manny Machado and Juan Soto's in that lineup right now. And granted, those guys are, like we said, they're struggling, but do you trust that one of those guys will break out and become who they are, and all of a sudden your problems at the top of your lineup are alleviated? Or do you really start messing with things? And I mean, I think to me that sounds a little bit like a panic move this early in the season. Now that might be something you do if these guys are scuffling in September and they're in a pennant race or in October, but you trust that guys who are on Hall of Fame trajectories will play like Hall of Famers soon enough. And I mean, eventually you're getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back and you add him in, and maybe that does give you some flexibility to potentially drop one of those guys down to 4 or something. But I think it's looking at it right now, you want your best hitters in the top spots, and those are the Padres, 2 of the 3 Padres best hitters right now.
Talking to AJ Cassavell, not that you're ever anything less than honest, but I have not been down to Petco and chatted yet this season. I've had family things and obligations. You're around the team every single day. What is I'm seeing a lot of on the timeline. I'm seeing a lot of, well, they're flat. The vibes are off. You know, the usual stuff you see when a team is scuffling. You're around the team every day in the locker room. Are the vibes, in fact, off, AJ?
The vibes are not off. The vibes, Manny Machado's not frustrated. I do get the sense that there is some other frustration after some of these losses where they don't show a whole lot, but it's not. I think it's healthy frustration. You want guys to be frustrated if they're losing games, but it's. I haven't sensed that the vibes are off at all. I think more than anything, it's just kind of a group of guys that think they're better than what they've shown so far, and they when they fall flat a little bit, like they did the last 2 games, there's frustration there afterward, which you'd like to see. So, I mean, it always looks flat. Baseball is a weird sport. It always looks flat when you're not scoring runs. I don't ascribe to the notion that if you're not scoring at all, it means you are flat. I think it's weird. It's a weird sport, and 8 losses in 18 games isn't unprecedented.
It is, and I'm not seeing, I'm not seeing the things that are happening. And we've seen Oli Marmol call out one of his players, right? Tyler O'Neill for not hustling around third, benched him the next day. You saw AJ Hinch bench Javi Baez for forgetting how many outs there were. I'm not seeing that. I mean, I know it goes on in baseball. I know that there are guys that dog it. I'm not seeing a lot of guys. I'm not seeing anybody dog it. So that's why it's hard for me to buy into the, guys aren't trying. They're going up there and just staring at pitches. Like I almost feel the opposite, that guys are pressing. There's no way. That's the problem. It's an easy thing to say, but there's no way to quantify. Oh, are you pressing? Well, yeah, I'm pressing. I haven't had a hit in 21 at bats. You're damn right I'm pressing, and I turned down $500 million to be here, and yeah, I'm pressing. I mean, I don't buy that narrative that the guys aren't trying.
Yeah, nor do I. And I mean, for anyone who would kind of get on guys for taking pitches and big spots, it's hard to hit a lot of these pitchers. And the Padres have faced a lot of really, really good pitchers in the first few weeks. This has been a brutal opening schedule for the Padres. And would you have liked a team that has World Series aspirations to be beating other teams with World Series aspirations? Yes, you would. But you'd like the team to be beating them in October more than you'd like them to be beating them in April. And so when they're facing some really, really good pitching, it can look lifeless at times if you're not getting results offensively. But they've faced some excellent pitching. They faced some really good teams. Those are the teams they want to beat come October. I think they would tell you that I don't think there's any. It's not for a lack of want to. It might be, if anything, for a lack of too much want to.
AJ, you said eventually the Padres are going to get Fernando Tatis Jr. back. Well, eventually is now Thursday. It's coming. Bob Melvin talked about it, and you were there when he walked onto the field and elicited some reaction. What do you think in your mind, AJ? You cover this team a lot. What's a realistic expectation for what Fernando Tatis Jr. brings to the Padres, both right away and over the course of this season?
370, 75 home runs.
Yep, that's fair. Sounds realistic.
Yeah, sounds right.
I'll take the over. No, look at what he did. Look at what he did in El Paso.
Yeah, exactly. He's on a pace to hit 400 home runs. We're good.
It's almost impossible to kind of predict this because it's so unprecedented. I mean, he's an MVP candidate in his prime who just didn't play a year of baseball and had 3 surgeries. So you want to think that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be the version we saw in El Paso. You want to think there's not going to be any lingering effects of those surgeries. It doesn't appear that there are. I mean, I didn't watch the games in El Paso. I watched the games in spring training, and he looked like, after those first 5 or 6 times out there where he shook the rust off, he looked like the version of himself that's one of the best players in baseball. So 375, 40 bombs, whatever. I don't know that it's necessarily fair to expect that, and I'm sure he will go through a rut a little bit. It will be a reacclimation period because some of the pitching he has faced throughout spring training and into AAA is not what the Padres have faced over the past 2 weeks. But I think it's completely fair to expect that adding this kind of player and the way he plays and the passion with which he plays will ignite a team that has struggled a little bit. And it'll take some of that burden off guys like Machado and Soto and Bogarts even. And you put him at the top of the lineup, and if he's hitting home runs or, reaching base and stealing a couple bags, because I think he'll benefit from the new rules, that's a significant burden off some of the other guys that are struggling in this lineup, and maybe all the pieces kind of fall into place.
Talking to AJ Caswell, it's weird because, in football, like if Patrick Mahomes misses 3 games and the Chiefs struggle, you expect an instant turnaround when he gets back into the lineup because one player, a quarterback, can have that kind of impact. In baseball, you don't really expect one player to have an outsized impact. You can only bat once every 9 times up there, yet I kind of agree with you, AJ. It feels like he could have a trickle-down effect in the lineup. Simply statistically, the right field has been a black hole offensively for the Padres so far this year. So even if Tatis is only, moderately good, it's a huge improvement on what they're getting right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if there's one guy in baseball whose presence, like you said, you lose LeBron James, you're going to expect to see a significant drop-off. You lose Patrick Mahomes, you're going to see a significant drop-off. You lose Fernando Tatis Jr., he's the closest guy there is because of the energy he brings and because of the way he plays and because of how freaking good he is. I mean, if you lose him, you would expect a drop-off, and when you get him back, you would expect to be instantly made better. And it's not just what the upgrade you're getting in right field, even though you are getting a significant upgrade, because that has been in the Padres' offensive flaws early this season, that's been one of the most pronounced. But if you get Tatis back and his bat has some impact on Juan Soto and Manny Machado, and they turn around a little bit, and Xander Bogaerts, I mean, he's not going to hit probably like he has so far, but if he's still Xander Bogaerts, if you get that top 4 clicking, the rest of your lineup, those flaws, the underperformance at catcher, the question marks you have right now with the Cronenworth Kim situation, even though I think both of them are good hitters, like those question marks are significantly mitigated because of what you're getting at the top of the lineup.
AJ, appreciate
Great
it as
stuff,
always. Bud. Yeah, good stuff. Bringing it. Continue the great coverage at MLB.com. May see you out at the ballpark again in the next couple of days before you hit the road. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That's AJ Casavell and our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Pretty cool breaking news coming in, Ben, just now from Richard Deitch from The Athletic. Says our pal Jim Trotter just got a new gig and he's joining The Athletic. So congratulations to Jim.
Good for him.
He's an awesome
formerly
guest.
of the Union Tribune,
Not that there's any
ESPN,
question
and
that he would
NFL
land on his
Network.
feet.
Right, yeah.
Just a matter of where.
We didn't talk about it. We mentioned when his contract wasn't renewed.
What a dumb move.
And
think about it. He
move.
was with the UT, and then he was ESPN, and then Sports Illustrated, and then NFL Network.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I got the order wrong.
I think Sports Illustrated, then ESPN, then NFL Network. But
those are 3 powerhouses in NFL media, and they all had him, and now they don't. And that's on them.
We didn't talk about it, but when Jim was let go by NFL Network, they offered him like 3 months of pay for free to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He said no. He turned down free money for his integrity and his ability to speak his mind and say what he thinks. And if he wants to dish any dirt on what goes on behind the scenes at the NFL, he can do so
several months
legal
ago.
consequences.
I think we might have talked about this when it happened, but several months ago at the Super Bowl and the annual Roger Goodell
Press
Q&A
conference,
with
yeah.
the media, Jim always asked him tough questions and uncomfortable questions, and he did it again. And Roger Goodell deflected and danced around it and never gave him a straight answer like he always does. And then the league ran network that employed Jim all of a sudden decides to cut ties. That sounds fishy to me.
Very fishy.
We've said it
And
before.
Jim Trotter's first story with the
Oh,
Athletic
it's
is
gonna be a
going
banger.
to be
Come
a
on.
banger.
A must read. I mean, immense respect for Jim Trotter. And again, we've said it before. He's also terrifying
He's absolutely terrifying.
because people with that amount of integrity
And intelligence.
and intelligence and intensity just are kind of terrifying people, but we love him.
Yeah, it's me ordering soup in Seinfeld when I have my questions pre-prepared, and I'm like,
Then you move over to
Jim,
the left.
what do you think about the quarterback rotation in
Tomato
so and so?
Bills.
Take your two steps to the left.
And I wait, and I'm just terrified.
And Ben comes up. All right. So
All right,
what can I
Jim,
get here?
So good. He is the goat.
Boo Trotter.
And just broke his microphone.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh
God.
man, it plugs right there.
Hello, am I here?
What are you doing?
Got
You
it.
don't ask Jim Trotter why he didn't give you bread
No,
with your soup.
No, you just
take it and you go.
You go. Congrats to Jim.
The man
Hi.
got a shout out from Rihanna, for God's
I know.
sake.
Insane.
Boo.
Hey, Boo. Thank you, Boo. It's unbelievable. So
Three
good.
killed it. Thank you, Boo.
Thank you, Boo. It's one of my favorite. One of my favorite moments.
Got
It's so
some
good.
tickets to give away. San Diego Legion when we come back, and then another guest coming up. It's Incorporator Tuesday with Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres. All still ahead with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Live coverage of every Padres game on 97.3 The Fan is now available through the Odyssey app. Wherever you are in the San Diego area, you can listen to every pitch of the Padres on Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app and search 97.3 The Fan to get started. It's been a more... I expected it after what I saw on Twitter mentions last night with frustrated Padres. He actually had good and real calls. I appreciate that from the tier ones because ultimately it's baseball a game where you can make giant proclamations very often.
Very true.
Every once in a while, you get enough data, you can say something with high degree of certainty. But for the most part, every game turns on one or two hits, one or two pitches, one or two plays. And just like last night against the Braves, if the Padres had won that game 2-0, it shouldn't actually be an entirely different conversation. I mentioned it earlier. The Braves were throwing their number one pitcher against the Padres. Let's be generous, number 7 starter in their rotation. Padres went with a couple of relievers, Brent Honeywell and Reese Kinnear, who have spent the vast majority of their career in the minor leagues. The Braves went with their high leverage relievers to try to contain a dangerous Padres lineup and did so successfully. Ultimately, the Braves got one more hit than the Padres. Most of them came in the first 3 batters before Ryan Weathers had settled in. After he did, that game was a deadlock for 8 2/3 innings of scoreless ball. Those were 2 very even teams. So, I mean, what do we take out of this? That the Padres are struggling and scuffling, or that they're in lockstep with a 101 team that's won 7 games in a row and is one of the hottest teams in all of baseball? Which one is it? Are they right there with the Braves and one of the best teams in baseball? Or are they the team that got shut out twice in a row and everyone needs to panic because this team is not what we thought they were?
Yeah, you're a hit away.
What is it?
You're a hit away.
Which one is it?
You're a hit away.
Because they're both true.
You're a hit away in the last 2 games. I mean, literally, just one.
And you scored 10 the game before that.
Right. You're 1 hit away. You're an Austin Nola 5-footer away from the line of winning that game or tying that game. And then yesterday you're a home run away from winning it, or you're a double away from tying it. Who knows what happens?
Manny Scorcher with 2 on is a few feet either way.
It's true.
It's a completely different game.
It's not.
But they didn't get it done. So right now they are the team that got shut out twice in a row. I'm not going to get
the bigger concern. The overarching biggest concern on the San Diego Padres is Juan Soto. That's it. That's really the one I'm most concerned about. And I was the guy last week, and I will stand by it. Let's give him a year, man. Let's give him a full year in a Padres uniform. I'm not even saying a full season. I'm saying give him 162 games in a Padres uniform, and then let's reassess. Even though still, you don't really have to. He's going to be under contract until the end of next season. Doesn't work, guys, flip him. Honestly, if you want to resign him, resign him. If he's not hitting, you're not going to pay him $500 million, and he's not going to command $500 million, I don't think, if he stays in this prolonged type slump.
I also think that the Padres are good enough that even with a mediocre Juan Soto, who all he does is walk and get on at a 360 on base percentage with Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Xander Bogaerts, they could still be a really good team, maybe even a world championship team. It'd be a lot easier with Juan Soto playing like an MVP.
A lot easier.
So, yeah, that's a legitimate concern. I'll make you this promise, though. If you think I'm being too easy, too soft on the team right now while they're struggling, if Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back and the Padres win 9 of 10 games and they're crushing, I'm also not going to proclaim them, well,
the best team of
this
all
is
time.
The best team of all time, and this is what we thought, and, hey, you should have listened to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
because
I'm not taking any victory laps either.
I also know that this is baseball, and it's bound to happen that they're going to go on a hot streak, and then they will go on a cold streak.
Trust me, if Adam and Odyssey would pay us for opening day and the playoffs alone, we'd be happy to take that money. Do opening day, get everyone excited, then come back when we make the playoffs and go, all right, Ben and Woods, we're back. What'd you guys think? Monster season. We're in the play. We'd love to. Who wouldn't want to take that money? Right? I mean, Ben tries. If tries to miss as many games in the season
puts as many vacations in there as he can.
That's absolutely. when the team is. I'm surprised that you actually with this stretch. I'm surprised you haven't put in for a
I
vacation.
was able to push my jury duty back to August now.
Oh,
so
good.
You'll still be without me though sometime in August, probably.
We'll take off because I'm sure the team will be in a massive skid.
Dog days. I figure. Oh, dog days. That'll work. I can show up for jury duty on dog days in August.
we got a vacation in June. We got a vacation in July.
We got jury duty in August.
Okay.
Nice.
I haven't planned September yet.
He's vacation in September.
He's setting it up. He's setting it up. No,
because the regular season is a good time to get away from it all for a few minutes.
No doubt. There's no.
But
doubt
I'm not.
about it.
I promise you this. For all of those who can't stand how optimistic I am not going to be dancing around in circles if the Padres win 5 in a row. It's just.
I wish I could.
It's too early.
Say the same. Last season, I spent a lot of time last year bookmarking Dodger fans, just in case. You just never knew. My bookmarks today are filled with Padre fans, and I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it.
You know what? They're going to play well, and then you're going to have a cathartic moment where you delete them all those bookmarks, and
Maybe.
you don't send them out to everybody. You just say, I just deleted a lot of foolish looking tweets from a couple of months ago. So if that was you, just know I just did you all a big favor.
You know
in a
how you
couple of
can
months.
see now when someone bookmarks your tweet? If you had a bad take, there's a good chance that I did it. It's a better than good chance. Very petty. I do believe in this team a lot.
And
I do.
maybe the doubters are right, and we will find that out as well. But I tend to think that this will still be quite a good baseball team when all is said and done.
Yeah, as do I.
All right, you can win now a pair of tickets to the SD Legion game against the Houston SaberCats on April 30th at Snapdragon Stadium. Be the third caller right now at 833-288-0973. Send you to the new stadium to see San Diego's hottest team. I think they're 7-1 right now in first place in the Major League Rugby's Western or Pacific Division. I'm not sure which one they call it, but they are playing well right now. Tickets are on sale at sdlegion.com, but win a pair by calling 833-288-0973. Be the third caller. We'll come back. It's an Incorporator Tuesday. I think we need to discuss the Incorporator word for today.
Every week. we do
And
this.
Jesse Ackler, the voice of the Padres, joins us next year on 97.3 The Fan.
23. 1-2 pitch. Manny swings, hits it hard but foul the other way. Official game time temperature 69 degrees. Brought to you by HES Solar, the official solar provider of the Padres Radio Network. The smart play for your home or business is HES Solar. Not a Pluviophile's ideal conditions on this trip, despite what you might expect this time of year, this part of the country.
This place is ideal for pluviophiles.
Right now, yeah.
Right now it is.
Although I just read it's supposed to get nice and warm this weekend.
I can't wait to
You have
bitch
said
about
that
the
at
heat.
least 10 times.
I know.
And then when Saturday gets there, I'm going to be like, good God, man, it's so hot.
That's the thing. We missed out on like the nice 70, 75 degree weather during the winter and, quote unquote winter. Now it's just going to go from rain and crap to 110.
Pluviophile was last week's incorporator word that Jesse Agler nailed as he always does.
Today's is a banger.
I think, and we'll have Jesse on here after traffic, but I think it's the simplest word we've given him in a long, long time.
Yep.
And also going to be the hardest to work into the baseball broadcast.
And make it make sense. 100%.
That's my
Jesse's
prediction.
currently on the phone just laughing. At you morons.
We will get to it coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Damick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, a 15-minute instant drive-through oil change. That crash has cleared in Balboa Park, southbound side of the 163 before Park Boulevard, and looks like that accident has cleared on the coastline, southbound 5 near Poinsettia. I've seen just a little residual slowing there. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, joins us right now with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, guys. Sorry about the rain.
I know.
All right.
It's all
We're
right.
pluviophiles.
Yeah, we're pluviophiles.
I don't mind it.
We have to be. It's not my choice.
I want to start with a mechanics question, just because I'm always fascinated by baseball play-by-play and what you do, for 162 games out of the year. So you had Bob Scanlon in the booth with you while Tony Gwynn has been filling in for Mud on television. How much do you change what you do depending on who's sitting next to you in the booth, Jesse?
Not much.
Okay.
I mean, we're lucky in that, we kind of all feel, I wouldn't say interchangeable, but we all work well together. We all know each other really well. We all have a lot of conversations off the air together. And I think that's the most important thing is that, so by the time we get around to discussing something on the air, we've probably already talked about it off the air 1,000 times. So we both have a pretty good idea of where we're going. And that's true no matter whether I'm working with Mud or Sweeney on TV or with Tony or Bob on radio. So, we all talk amongst ourselves enough that, I think, you have a pretty good sense of, what somebody's interested in or passionate about. Now, the only real difference, I guess, would be, I'm going to lean on Tony a little harder for hitting stuff,
right? Yeah.
And vice versa with Bob for pitching. So that's really the only quote unquote change. But, I consider myself very, very lucky because everybody I get the opportunity to work with makes it very easy on me.
What if Woods joined
Other than
you
Dave
tonight?
Marcus, but
What
yeah,
if
that's a
I
different
joined
story.
him tonight? Oh,
He'd have to change everything.
He'd be miserable. I panic.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen though.
No, it's not. Thanks for the
I
vote
don't
of
know. I mean, I think
confidence.
Woods is somewhere in the, the presidential line of succession.
If 12th,
if 7 or 10 people
They
can't
all got
perform their
norovirus?
duties, and we are desperate, and someone gives a call to Adam, and Adam goes, "I can't find it." Jesse, you need to work with
No,
with Woods
it's
tonight.
president, vice president. What's the Secretary of State? Woods is like a
Secretary of
city
State.
councilman.
Speaker of the House. Yeah.
City council.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
the Secretary of the Interior or something.
I had my
At some point, Jesse goes, "I'll just do it by myself." We're
yeah,
fine.
I had my shot.
Yeah.
I had my shot. I panicked. I did. I'm
Yeah.
so comfortable with a microphone in front of me, except when I'm calling a big league baseball game. I did it once. I never want to do it again. You couldn't put a gun to my head to do it. What you guys do is an art. It's an art, and you guys are great. And I'm jealous because I said it the other day. One of my favorite guests on this show is, besides you, is your partner, Tony Gwynn Jr. And you know why I like Tony Gwynn Jr. so much is because he never goes full John Smoltz on anybody, ever. He never says, well, you don't understand, Woods, you never played at the highest level. He never says that. And I love that. You can ask him questions. He answers those questions, but he doesn't throw the, sorry, bro, you're not privy and your opinion doesn't count because you never played at the highest level. I love that about him.
Yeah, I mean, the key to what we all do on a broadcast, aside from telling people what's going on in the game, which is obviously the primary thing, the other key is you want people invested and interested. And there's no way to get somebody interested or invested, in my opinion, by telling them they don't know what they're talking about. Like that's counterproductive. I mean, we're out here. We are, look, at the end of the day, we are promotional arms for this team. Make no bones about it. We're not journalists, okay? And I think most fans realize that. But like, we're here to promote the product and the sport. And on a national level, whether you're doing it, or on a local level, whether you're doing it, that is a huge, huge part of why you have this job, in my opinion. And obviously not everybody sees it that way. But that's part of what we do, is we want people interested and invested. And so talking down to them or telling them that they could never understand, to me, is pretty much the opposite of what you want to do.
But Jesse, when people do become interested and invested, they can also become emotional. And then maybe sometimes
they can be wrong. Don't get me wrong. They can be wrong.
Sometimes they get a little frustrated and mad, and then they like to take that out on broadcasters, like morning radio hosts. Do you get much of that? Woods was talking earlier and going, I don't know if Jesse gets it the way we get it. Or do you hear it?
I get killed.
Do you hear it a lot on social media from like, oh, you're too soft on this team? I tell it like it is, Jesse, or you not see a lot of that?
I don't get a lot of tell it like it is, because I think we do tell it like it is. I mean, Tony and I think really pride ourselves on being honest conveyors of reality.
So do Woods and I, and that doesn't stop people from giving us giving us what they think about it and disagreeing.
And look, it's the same as anything in life, right? I mean, there's going to be a percentage of the people out there who think you're too hard on them. There's going to be a percentage of people who think you're too soft on them. I mean, that's always going to be the case no matter what. But look, there's no question that when fans are frustrated, you hear a little bit more. It's funny, I actually texted you about this, Woodsy, last week. It's not even so much the stuff directed at me, but for whatever the reason, and I guess I appreciate it, the radio station always tags me in their game updates.
Yeah.
And the replies to the in-game updates when things are not going well are sort of the peak frustrated replies on social media. But I'll be honest with you, I pay less attention to Twitter replies now than I have at any point in the last like dozen or 15 years. It's just, it's become a little bit much, out there. And the app, quite frankly, doesn't work as well as it used to. So that makes it a little bit more difficult to keep up, and I check, don't get me wrong. I check, I want to make sure I kind of have a sense of what's going on, but like the usefulness of the app to me is at an all-time low. So it might be a heavier amount of stuff out there than there used to be, but it doesn't come up on my feed because the app is so broken.
It is, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I'm happy. I love doing this job. I have so much fun trying to entertain every day. And no,
you don't take it personally though, do you? You can't take it personally.
Oh no, I absolutely. I beat myself up. One guy can ruin my entire weekend, Jesse. Oh,
there's a great New Yorker cartoon, and I keep a copy of it saved on my phone. And this applies, I think, to any of us who do anything with any sort of like public facing aspect of it, whether you're a player, broadcaster, anything else. And it's just a cartoon of a woman standing on stage. She has obviously just finished some kind of performance. It doesn't matter what it is. And she's looking out at the crowd, and everybody is standing and cheering and applauding and smiling. And she sees one guy in the third row with his arms crossed, all angry. And the caption in the thought bubble reads, "They hated me."
Yep. It's so true. It's my fatal flaw. Literally. And by fatal, I mean, it might kill me at some point. It is my number one fatal flaw. I'm trying, and there's a responsibility too. I do feel to say, hey, without being a jerk, hey man, if you think about, like, I just saw a guy tweet in, I wish everybody would have listened to me back in 2020 when I said Fernando Tatis Jr. is an immature kid and he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I get jerky and I'm like, well, you should apply for a job, Merlin, since you can see the future. Like, I don't.
Honestly, would you change anything? Do you wish that they didn't have him anymore?
Right.
Because I certainly don't.
I'm glad he's coming back.
I'm still glad he's here, and the Padres have Fernando Tatis Jr. locked up.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, Jesse. What is your level of enthusiasm as a broadcaster who obviously appreciates the great things that he can bring to this team? How excited are you for Thursday? Because I'll tell you, man, we were this close to driving out for the game.
Extraordinarily high. Like, I'm not even trying to hide it anymore, how excited I am. It's a really, really big deal. And not just because they're 8-10 and they've been shut out in back-to-back games, although I'm sure that contributes to the way I'm feeling about it. But I just love watching him play baseball. It's that simple for me. I don't know as an adult that I've been more entertained by watching a guy than I have by him. In fact, I know I haven't. He makes me feel like a kid watching baseball. The wonderment and the awe that he provides on a near daily basis, by the way, doing stuff that like feels as if it should be impossible, whether that's hitting a ball all the way out of Dodger Stadium, whether that's avoiding a pickoff throw at first base with that matrix slide, whether it's tagging up from third and scoring on a pop-up to the second baseman. He does things that I think literally nobody else in the game does. I love watching him play baseball. Not just that he hit 41 home runs a couple of years ago while missing however many games, with the shoulder stuff. He's just a joy to watch play. His energy, his enthusiasm, his exuberance. I'm telling you, as a grown-up, nobody has ever made me feel that way the way he does. So I'm extremely excited, and I know I'm not alone.
I'll tell you what, the narrative is setting up. If he happens to get off to a hot start and the Padres start playing well, whether it's true or not, he's going to get all of the credit in the world for a turnaround here from, quite frankly, Jesse, you know it as well as I do, is not that disastrous of a start. It's simply
not disastrous at all. It's not even a little
it's
disastrous.
Not really. It's just a little bit disappointing. And that's all that we are right now. But it won't stop the machine from saying, "My goodness, what Fernando Tatis Jr. has done."
We're the fan now. We're not the machine anymore.
That's true.
It's 97 through the
Good
fan.
point.
It's not the machine.
But you know what I'm talking about, Jesse.
Yeah.
Well, real ones remember the machine.
It's all 15 minutes of it. Yeah, they do.
By the way, Orsillo still comes in like once.
What does he say?
Orsillo comes in like once a week to the booth, before a game. He goes, "How are things at the machine?" Like once a week.
Don is such a troublemaker. No one thinks he is, and he is such a troublemaker.
He's just partnered up with the bigger troublemaker.
Yeah,
that's how he gets away with it.
That is fair.
How do those guys even survive road trips? I just don't understand that.
I don't either, man. I don't either. It is such good stuff. Jesse, I have a word for you today, but I have to ask you first. There's have you ever heard of a synonym for a butt, like a butt, somebody's butt? Have you ever heard the synonym cake?
Sure. Yeah, you see that on social
media.
Yeah,
you see that. Oh, look at that cake, right? It's usually about Manny or Tatis or Nelly Cruz or something.
With our fan base, yes, it is.
Yes. All right. So the word I have for you for today's Incorporator, and it's a very simple word. It's called cakeage. And the word cakeage means a fee charged by a restaurant for serving a cake brought in from outside. Much like corkage, we've all paid a corkage fee.
Have we all? That's a pretty fancy thing to bring your own wine into a restaurant.
Yeah, I've paid a corking. I figured you would.
I have
all the time,
but I wouldn't say that. I
are.
was a little surprised to hear you say that you've done it.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You don't just get the cheapest Chardonnay on the menu,
No.
and that's you're good to go.
Chardonnay? What am I, a housewife? No, I don't drink Chardonnay.
What kind of wine? What kind of wine do you drink?
I'm a Pinot guy because of Sideways. 100% because of the movie.
I'm very
Sideways.
impressed.
That is such a great movie.
It's my favorite
such a
movie.
good movie.
It's my number one favorite movie of all time. I am a combination.
I remember
of both
like
of those characters.
seeing it in the theater.
Oh yeah, me too. I loved it. Cakeage is the word. So yeah, the fee charged by a restaurant for serving a cake
no problem.
brought in from no problem.
No problem.
How is that no
I mean,
problem?
it's not a hard word, but how on earth are you going to weave an entire story about a birthday cake at a Red Lobster, and then they had to cut it up for you?
You can't watch Manny and go, "Wow, look at that cakeage from Machado."
Sure, I could, but I'm not going to. Yeah.
You are the GOAT. I look forward to hearing I'm really excited to hear you guys on Thursday too, when Fernando does come back. But yeah, let's go out and beat Strider and Morton and get this doom and gloom behind us. It's gonna be a tough challenge tonight for sure.
I am stunned, by the way, that like you guys didn't grill me on the offense or 8 and 10, anything like that. That means to me that you're both in a good headspace, which makes me happy.
Much better.
We've done it for 3.5 hours.
This
already,
show helps.
Plus 4 hours yesterday.
It does help. Yeah, it does help. And we knew you would come on and set everyone's mind at ease because that's what you do best. You really missed your calling you could have been a brilliant psychoanalyst, Jesse Agler.
Yeah, I'd have to fix myself first.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Cakeage. They don't do it at Petco Park.
No, I've never seen it. I've been to some nice restaurants before. I've never seen.
Oh, I've seen Cakeage.
You have?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They charge you for
I
bringing
mean,
birthday cake?
Yeah, they got a dessert menu and they got, like $12 fancy souffles
Right.
or $14. If you're bringing your own dessert, for them to cut it all up in the back and present it on plates and silverware, they're going to charge you like, $3 or $4 a person at least.
Wow, that much?
To serve your own birthday cake.
Now, listen, the corkage fee is brilliant. I mean, I have a friend that used to work here. You guys remember our pal Dave? Used to work here. He's a wine guy. So when we go to fancy dinner a couple times a year, he brings a really nice bottle that would be $500.
Well, yeah, usually you figure like the retail price that you're buying at the store, the restaurant's going to charge you about double for that same bottle of wine. So you bring in a good bottle.
You pay $20 corkage.
And a lot of restaurants nowadays, like on slower nights, like Tuesday or Wednesday, they'll waive like a wine Wednesday. They'll waive the corkage fee. So bring your own wine in, get a nice deal. You get it at even Costco has good wine, and you bring it in and you can have a nice bottle with whoever you're going and not pay that, $62 for a bottle of wine that goes with your dinner. You can save some money that way.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I that is a fee I don't mind paying. You know me, I don't really mind paying fees, but the corkage fee, I think it's a good deal. I think you come out on top on that.
I will say I like Pinot. You know what I like though is Zinfandel. Not white Zinfandel. The red, the jammy red Central
Delicious.
California Zinfandel wine.
I like it too.
It's really good with like barbecue and roasted meats.
I don't drink wine with barbecue.
You could.
I drink Sprite.
It's a good combination. Like a ribs or a like a barbecued brisket goes really well with red wine, especially like a Zinfandel.
Okay.
And this has been Wine Chat on Ben and Woods.
I'll keep that in mind.
I always have I'm fascinated by like sommeliers.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was sommelier.
Sommelier. Sommelier.
I'm not at all, but I like wine enough. What's that?
Feedback.
Well, we got some feedback. How is the feedback?
Mostly saying that we're too easy on the Padres.
Yeah. Well, I am. You're a journalist. I'm not.
I am, but I honestly think that this is the worm will turn fairly quickly. Might not be tonight. I mean, you're going against Spencer Strider. You've got some cold players in your lineup. It would be unexpected of the Padres to break out with 9 runs in this one, but maybe you can find a way to sneak out a victory. Wouldn't be shocked if Blake Snell just goes out and.
Oh, no,
how many times you don't think that Blake Snell is about to have a good start at some point? How many times in his Padres career has he not thrown in a brilliant start every once in a while? He doesn't just go on long runs where every single start is bad. I'll go back and look at the numbers, but I'd be surprised if that's
what's the month. What
that's
month are we
true.
in?
April.
All right, talk to me in 60 days. I'm gonna get behind that. He did this 3 weeks in a row now.
What?
I think Blake's gonna shove today. He could. He's got the stuff. Strap in. Might need some of that Zinfandel for bump day, as it were. Thank you guys for being here.
Let's see. It's the first
That's it for us.
His
We're
first few starts last year. No
For Paul
runs,
Ryan,
3 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 0 runs, 4 runs. I mean, even early in the season, he can have some good ones.
We need to score.
All right. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. That's it for now. For Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Coach John Quintera coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.